Good evening and welcome to Poker Night Live. Tonight it's myself, Michelle, and James Browning. Hello, James.
Hi, Mish. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Been seeing a lot of you lately.
Yes, that's right. I've been busy. Have you had a good weekend?
Yes, very good weekend yourself.
Been partying?
Maybe a little.
Oh.
No, James and I aren't hungover at all. Welcome to the show. Welcome back, those of you that do watch a lot. Tonight we're going to be looking at the game of Texas Hold'em. It's a poker game. It's an amateur night tonight, so we'll be learning how it's played. James will be helping us with that, hopefully, throughout the night by commentating on all of the games that we watch. We're going to be watching internet games, cash games, tournament games, a multi-table tournament as well. We can see everybody's cards, so it's a great way to learn. Our players can't see everybody's cards, though, because that wouldn't be quite fair, and there is a delay on all of our internet games, but you can log on to the net and see them being played as we're watching them as well with the delay. So it's all very exciting.
Certainly is.
If you would have anything that you need to know throughout the night, if there's any questions or if there's anything you don't understand or any comments you would like to make, you can do by texting us. The text number, you will know the old text number. If you don't know the new text number, there it is. Text poker and your question to 84222. 84222, a new text number for you to remember. You can also email. The email address, here it comes, is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And do remember, when we do go to a break, you can check us out on the web, www.pokernightlive.co.uk. Now, there is a great forum up there, isn't there? It's a really good place to learn
Very lively
some stuff.
forum, very educated forum.
And actually, while we're on that subject, Shelby, who is one of our regulars on the forum, has put together a private league for the Poker Night Live fans, a private poker league. If you'd like to find out more about that, you can do by going to that forum, and we will be showing the first one on Monday. So that's going to be very interesting to see all of our regulars playing against each other in a league.
Do we have any idea how many people are going to be in it or not?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
But
we'll keep you
I
posted.
wonder if we're allowed to sign up for it, actually. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Okay, well, like I said, we're going to be watching cash games, tournaments, and multi-table tournaments. So, James, if you wouldn't mind taking us around the tables.
Here we go. What's on the menu tonight? There we have a 25, 50-cent cash game. There's one seat available, so click on, get on, join in. Then we have a $5 sit and go. That's in the 10-20 first level. Full complement of players. And finally, we've got a $10 sit and go, also in the opening stages. Also a full complement of players. Look, they've hardly moved at all.
So have you been playing much, James?
Actually, I've had a spell of, just recently, I have the spell of been doing a lot of work for PNL, and I haven't been playing much, actually.
You have been a busy bee,
I have been a
busy
busy
at the
bee,
moment.
but what I'm planning to do is in the beginning of April, I think it's April the 3rd week, I'm off to Sweden.
Oh, I do remember you saying that. You've only just come back from
Moscow. So I'm going to go.
A jet setter.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, Austria, Moscow. It's been all over, and the cruise before that.
Man of the world.
Yeah. So off to Sweden on April the 3rd. So I'm quite looking forward to that. I'm going to be there for a week, and I'll be playing in the Swedish Open. And it's a really big tournament there. Well,
a lot of people don't know this, but there are poker holidays you can go on where you play poker. You pay, even the cruise ships, you can go on those and play poker and have a holiday at the same time. A lot of people don't know these things are going on, but if you are interested in anything like that, you can just find out on the net, can't you?
Oh yes. Well, this one's actually a proper festival, so these are European ranking tournaments I'll be taking part in. So the one in Moscow was a ranking tournament, so that sort of kicked my year off, getting a few points there.
Lovely.
Where I came 3rd, and so see if I can back that up in Sweden.
Well, we all wish you luck, James, in Sweden.
Well, I'll give you a call if I'm doing any good.
If you need any tips, you've got me on
I'll ask you, Mish.
Well, we're going to start off tonight with a cash game, so let's head straight there.
And here we are. It's a 25, 50-cent cash game. The most you can buy in for at this table is $50. You can buy in for as little as $5.
So if you are interested in playing, all you have to do is sign on to any of the websites, and then once you've got an account, once you've got some money in there, or you have play money as well, you can play with play money, can't you?
Yeah, not on this table, of course,
this table,
it's a real money table.
Real money. But you choose a seat, you choose a table, and if it's an 8-seater table, obviously if there's 8 people in there, you can't sit down. Find one where there's maybe 7, and then you can sit in the empty seat.
Yeah, or you just put your name on the reserve list, because each of the tables will have a waiting list. So supposing you see this game, you quite fancy playing on it, you just put your name on the waiting list.
So as soon as somebody leaves,
as soon as someone disappears from the game, ping, you'll be given the option for that seat. And you'll have a time to be able to, before you to register for that seat. If you're away making a cup of tea and you weren't there, you might lose your option, and then the next person on the waiting list would go through, and you disappear off the waiting list. So when you see you're getting near getting a seat, you've got to be on your toes to make sure you get the seat. But
generally, on most of these sites, there are always tables where there's seats available.
Oh, but there'll be other tables, because the advantage of an internet site is they don't actually physically have to have tables, so they can open as many tables as they need.
Okay, so once you've sat down, as you just said, you have to choose an amount to sit down with.
That's right.
And is there anything that can help people make the decision?
Yes, basically, I think you should be playing a game where you can afford to sit down for the maximum. Why the maximum? Because I think this gives you the most number of weapons to win in that game. If you have the full strength of chips, you don't always have to win the hand. Sometimes you can bet people out of a hand. If you're sitting there with a small stack of chips, well, then you can't frighten people off. So, and more or less, you're committed to the hand you're playing just with that small amount of chips you've got. So if you've only got $10, well, someone makes it 4 or whatever. If you're going to be raising to 10, they're probably going to come along anyway.
Although you do see people do that. You see people enter a game with a very minimum amount or a very small amount, and they end up waiting for a hand and then going all in.
Well, yes, and that's the way to play it. That's the way probably to play it. You just play very selectively. But now there's only one way you're going to win, is to get a hand which is going to win at showdown. But when you're sitting there with a maximum buy-in, you don't necessarily have to go to showdown, because you can probably cut off the action on the turn.
You can make a bet that will push other people off, so you take the pot down.
Yeah, so you have more options to win.
Well, actually, along them lines, it is, as you were saying, that's one way to win, because there's 2 ways to win, isn't there? Either having the best hand or making your opponents think you have the best hand.
But in the money games, we will be going to see showdown more often, because in a money game, all we want to be doing is to make sure that we're on the right side of the odds. We're giving the person the wrong odds to call. So therefore we're prepared for them to call, we're prepared to give them the chance to beat us, because we say we want to just reproduce you calling with the wrong odds time and time again, because in the long run you'll win by doing that. I.e., if the person is 4-1 against to make his hand, and you only give them odds of 3-1 in the middle, they're going to lose by calling, because they're only going to make this hand 1 time out of 5, but they're only going to get paid 3-1, you see? So that's
we will touch on that tonight as well, because the odds can get very confusing.
But in a tournament, it's a bit different, because there we're not so odds orientated, and in a tournament we're often quite pleased just to push people out and say, hang on, I've got enough chips now, I've only got 1 tournament life, I'm not going to play around giving you the wrong odds to call, I can't afford you knocking me out. So I'm going to blast you out of this now and just take this pot down. So
there are different ways to play between a tournament and a cash game.
Very much so. Very, very much so.
Okay, well, we will be watching both tonight. So for now, we concentrate on the cash game. We're just going to see a table here. This is the leaderboard to show who has the most chips. But first of all, it does happen very quickly. For those out there that have joined us, Texas Hold'em, what are we watching and how is it working?
Well, the game all kicks off from that white button with the D on it, which is the dealer's button. Craven, in this case, was to the left of the dealer's button. He was a small blind, that's 25 cents, and Robbo Squirrel was a big blind, who put in 50 cents. Then Nialo had the option to play. He just turned it down, however, as did Snap It, Tragic Trev, and Shaky Shark, and Elvis decided to call, I think... unless it might have even raised, but it was up to him. It just carries round clockwise around the table. Next hand, that dealer's button moves 1 space round in a clockwise manner, and the blinds, always to the left of the button, are moving around in a clockwise manner as well. So after 1 round, everyone will have placed 1 small blind and 1 big blind. So it's all very fair. But unlike a tournament, the blinds stay the same all the time. Whereas in a tournament, they have to go up. Otherwise, people might be sat there all night and we'd never finish the show.
No. So you've got 3 decisions to make when it comes to you.
Yes, you can call, pass, or raise.
So you can call the amount that
the amount that they bet. Well, in fact,
already.
if they haven't done it, if you're just left of the big blind, the amount you'll be asked to call will just be 50 cents because there's been no other action taking place. So therefore, if you want to call, it'll cost you 50 cents if you were left of the big blind. So under the gun it's called. So in this case, Tragic Trev is under the gun. He could put 50 cents into call, or he could fold, as he did do, or he could have said, I'll call at 50 cents and raise another $1. He could have put $1.50 in total, or $2 in, or $57.20 if he wanted to. He has any,
because it's no limit. He can put in as much as he likes.
Any amount he wants in. So those are his options. And then, after he's made his option, then Shaky Shark has to decide what he wants to do, and so forth round the table.
So once everybody's bets are even, we see the flop, which is these 3 cards.
Yes, this is the flop, the first 3 cards. We can look here, 3, 9, 4, and we're looking to make our best poker hand. It'll be our best 5-card poker hand out of 7 cards. That'll be 5 cards which eventually will be out there in the middle, and the 2 in your hand. So at this moment, we'll look around very quickly, see if anyone's got a 9. Yes, they have. Robbo Squirrel. So he's got the top pair of 9s, connected with the one on the board there. So he's got a 9 in his hand, 9 on the board, and he's got an ace kicker. So at the moment, his hand is pair of 9s, ace, 4, 3. Shaky Shark, he's got a flush draw. Why? Because there's 2 spades on the flop, and he's got 2 spades in his hand. So he needs 1 spade to make a flush. And
this is why he's calling the bets that Robbo's putting in.
Yes, but of course he's not really getting very good value for it. So you've got to be careful how much he's paying to call down for flush. Because paying for drawing hands when your head's up is not ideal, because generally you're not getting value.
Because there's only one person who's going to be paying you off.
So therefore, really, you'd like company. Because you'd like maybe 2 other people to be in there. The reason being is, if you hit your flush, it's probably good enough to beat everybody. So you would like their extra money in the middle.
This is an excellent point, actually. If your head's up, I suppose they'll see the flush as well, so they may very well put it down so you don't get paid.
You mightn't get paid anyway. If there's more people there, you might have someone who's sitting there with trips or whatever. In the end, he pays you off anyway because he doesn't believe you've got it, or he can't put his hand down. But you want more company, because then the time you hit, you get well rewarded.
So thinking along them lines, if you do find yourself heads up, it's you and one other player, and you do have a flush draw, if someone bets at you then, is it a good decision to think, well I'm not going to get involved at this point?
Well, you've really got to look. What you've got to ask yourself is this. You've got to ask yourself more than one question. And this is where beginners have a problem, because they look at only the immediate thought, which is, shall I call, or shall I pass, or shall I fold? Sorry, should I call, pass or raise? Beg your pardon, no, not pass or fold. Should I call, fold or raise? But what they should be doing is, they should ask themselves that, but they'll say, what happens if I call this? What is my opponent going to do after the next card? And what if I haven't hit my flush? How will that be for me? So now you're going to look ahead. Now, if you know you've got the sort of opponent who's going to just bet you out of this situation on the next card, i.e. give you the wrong odds,
you can feel that it's going to start to become very expensive.
Well, it's going to be no good for you. Or, if you can already see he's giving you the wrong odds now, better just to get out of the situation altogether. Forget about your flush draw. Because as I said, heads up draw hands are not ideal. If he's underbet it and give you odds to get in there for the flush draw, even for the 1 card, supposing he's giving you odds of 6 to 1. Well, you're less than 6 to 1 to hit your flush now, with 1 card to come, so you call. Say, thank you very much, you misbet it. I'm going to punish you by calling. Now he might correct himself on the next card and bet the size of the pot, which would only be giving you 2 to 1. So example, there was 20 in the middle, he bets 20, you got 20 to call. So that would be 40 in the middle, you got 20 to call. You're only getting 2 to 1.
Yeah, it's going to cost you 20 to receive 40 if you win.
Yes, to win 40. Only 1 card to come, you're more than 4 to 1 against.
So that means 4 times you won't hit your flush, and 1 time you will.
So it's no good. Because
so on that same situation, 4 times you're going to lose
one
the 40
time you'd
and
win,
20.
1 time you'd win the 40, and 4 times you'd lose the 20. So you'd win 40, but you'd lose 80. So overall, it'd be a losing package of minus 40.
Yeah, and that's looking at the exact same hand being played exact same the way.
So you would divide that 40
times
by the 5, which is the 4 to 1, and that would be you'd be averaging losing $8 every time you did that move.
So you're on a losing
negative
move.
expectation.
Now this does all get very confusing to those of you obviously that aren't interested in odds, but the viewers do have to remember this is over the long run, isn't it? Because I can hear people saying, well, you're not going to be in that exact same situation.
No, that's not
time.
over the long run. No, that's in that actual situation I've said. That's the situation.
Yeah, but the reason it is because if you played that hand 5 times, that would be the outcome.
Yes, but it doesn't even come out over that time because, yes, in the long run it is over time because nothing works out exactly. But that level there, where we've worked out that -8, that is your actual expectation.
For that hand.
If you're getting 2-1 and you're 4-1 against, and the bet was 20, it's a negative expectation, which means you are going to average -$8 by just calling that. This is cancelling any implied odds or whatever. Let's say that was the only $20 you had left. You're going to average -$8 by making this call. That's it. Cut and dry.
Making that call
now, you
is
might
the wrong
win
decision.
this first time, say, oh, look, I won it. I won this time. Yeah. You still had a negative expectation of -8. You just were fortunate that time. Keep on doing it. It'll average out at -8 in that situation. That's what it's all about. So this is what's going to help us make some of these decisions, especially in a money game.
So even if you make a decision, say for instance you do make a call, you are getting odds to call, and you call and you miss your bet and you lose, you can still walk away thinking, well, I made the right decision. If I always make that decision in that situation, in the end I will make money.
In fact, that's after we've played a session or a hand or whatever, that's what we should do. We should rerun it, rewind it, play it through in our minds, have a look at the situation, have a look at the odds we were getting when we called the bet. Were we on the right side of it? Yes, we were. Did we win? No, we didn't. That's irrelevant because that's not a long enough trial. I made the right decision. If I keep on doing that, I will be fine. And that's what we have to do. Yeah, perfect, Michelle.
Okay, well, let's head back to the game. We're actually going to go and have a quick look at our MTD, our multi-table tournament,
Sure,
James.
good.
This is a tournament. I don't see if I've got the information on this.
I've got some for you.
Have you got it,
yes,
James?
There's
Wonderful.
113 players tonight in this tournament.
Okay.
It's a $10 tourney.
So 113 people playing over however many tables that is. James can do the math.
Well, right, yeah, sorry, it's yeah, they get 1,500 chips to start with. I'll just look at something else there.
Okay, that's not too bad. So they've all paid $10. They've all been given 15,000.
It's over
1,500
they're playing on
chips.
15 tables initially.
So they're spread out over 15 tables, but they are all playing in the same game. And as people are knocked out of the competition, so as people are losing all their chips, those tables will be condensed all the way down to one table remaining.
That's right.
And we will watch that at the end of the night.
Yes, and the tables are always balanced out, so that there's never a difference of more than 1. So therefore, you could have 8 on, suppose there were 15 people left, you could have 8 on one table and 7 on another. But you couldn't have 9 and 6.
No.
Because they want to keep the tables as balanced as they can.
Possible.
So there's a total of 169,500 chips in the tournament. And why are we bothered about that? The reason is, if you're playing a multi-table tournament, you want to have a good idea what the average chips for a player is. Now, when you're playing on the internet, on the sites you're playing, they'll all probably they will all tell you this. They'll tell you how much the largest stack is, what the average chips is at the time, what the smallest stack is, etc., etc. Well, you want to keep an eye on this information because it'll help you just to give you a bearing of where you are in the tournament and what, if anything, you need to do at that time.
How does this affect your play though? Because we spoke about this briefly last time I worked with you, and since then I've played in a multi-table tournament. And I did, throughout the whole tournament, I was checking out the average stack, and I could see whether I was just above it or just below it. When I was below it, I started thinking to myself, and now I know I'm below, so I know I have some work to do.
Yeah.
But do I still just playing the hands as I would usually play them, or do I have to start trying to do something a bit special, or try and steal some things and take some risks?
Steal some things like your
Like
mother's cutlery so you can sell it and enter another tourney. Is that what you mean?
Yes, like the next door neighbour's painting. Blind.
Right, it depends on how far below average you are.
Okay.
If you're just a little bit below average, this is not panic time, obviously. You're just trogging along there, that's fine, and you play you're more or less playing normally. You're bearing along with the average. It's when you suddenly really fall behind. Now, of course, you have to suddenly start making some sort of move now to catch up and to get back into the game. So what we do is it's not just average chips, we do a few sort of like litmus tests. One is the average stack.
Yep.
Then we look at our stack, whatever it is, in relation to, so let's pick a player here. Who are we going to pick? Pick one.
Buffy be good.
Okay, Buffy be good. So he's got 930 chips, and we look at the blinds. Well, the blind's only in the first level. So each round is only going to cost him 30. A small blind 10 and a big blind 20. So we can divide his 930 by 30, and we'll see that we have 31 rounds. I mean, well, there's no pressure. It doesn't matter that he's below average, which he is. He's still got loads of play.
So he doesn't need to panic.
He doesn't need to panic. So therefore, it's not just don't panic, oh, I'm below average, I must play. No. Then check the next guideline, which I say. So where are we in relation to the blinds? That, in fact, is the most important of all the criteria. Because where we are, how many rounds of play we've got, tells us how much time we've got. So so it's now gone up, hasn't it? It's gone up to 1530. So therefore, he had his 930, so he's now divided by 45. So now he's got 20 rounds of play. Still fine, lots and lots of time.
So he's just recalculating as the blinds are going up.
Exactly. So therefore, basically, without even checking, unless you've had a disaster, the early stages of the tournament are no place to panic. The early stages of the tournament, because of small blinds, are places to be selective with your hands. Because one of the things you can do in poker is to be selective. So you should be playing solid cards in the early stages, because you don't want to be trying to steal the blinds, because the blinds are insignificant and they don't add to your stack. When you look at how much play you've got, let's have a look at the blinds. Let's say if we can try and steal the blinds. Okay, so we look at AA, he's got 1522. If he was to steal the blind, he'd get 45. Well, 45 on top of 1522 is insignificant. It doesn't help him much at all. So therefore, because it doesn't help him much at all, he definitely shouldn't be taking much risk, because his risk-reward ratio is no good.
So why risk that amount of money to win such a little bit amount when you don't need to?
It's like, why should somebody, it's like stupid people, if they go and try and rob a building society to get £2,000, risking 10 years in prison. This is stupid risk-reward ratio, isn't it? Absolutely brain dead. What they're going to win is not going to help them, because steals are going to help them, and it's a horrible risk they're taking.
But that decision changes as the blinds start going up, don't they?
Of course, that's what we've got to be bearing in mind all the time.
When the blinds are, say, I don't know, 320, 640,
of course,
they're worth stealing.
Well then, it's in relation to how many chips you've got. This is what we're working out all the time. So that's why I say, you see how many rounds of play you've got.
Okay, well, let's have a look here. Tragic Trev's in mid-position here with a pair of sevens.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know how to play these pairs. Some people think they just want to limp in, see if they can catch that third seven. Some people do like to raise. But if you do raise, and then when the flop comes down, there's generally going to be a lot of overcards on there, so it's difficult to know where you are. But this time it seems to have worked for him. Everyone's folded.
He's taken them. I mean, I think it's fine to play it either way there, because one, he hasn't won much money with it. As I said, it's not made a significant difference to his stack.
No.
He could have walked into a bigger pair, got himself into a lot of trouble by making that 120. And really, I think it's quite good. When he had a few more chips than average, which he's got, it would have been quite good to actually just to call with the sevens and see the flop.
See if he can hit that big hand.
See and hit it, because then he's got the possibility to hit it, to win a really good pot, and his risk is negligible if he hits it. Also, he can get away from it very easily. So for the price of 30, he might win a really great pot and get himself on the way to being the top 10% of the players.
I do see people calling a lot with hands when there's overcards on the board. I've seen it before, whereas people, especially with things like 10s and 9s and,
Right.
and an ace is on the board or a king is on the board and someone else is
And they
betting.
still call.
And I see that all the time.
Yeah, but really, what are they doing? I mean, they just don't know where they are, do they? So, I mean, it's up. Their opponent could probably bully them out of the pot quite easily.
We've got 2 6 7s here. It's very odd.
Different suits.
They've all got a pair of
Obviously,
sixes.
Both suited, 6 7 suited, and
Little Bully with the best kicker.
oh, look at the 7. It's
Ooh.
come on the end there. Little Bully was in great shape as it happens, with his pair of 6s with an ace kicker, but along comes a 7 to make 2 people very happy.
So Little Bully Cat hasn't got a call there. He's got a 6, but there's a queen out there, a 7, a 9.
They had a shared pot there.
I'm surprised that Azaman just called with these 2 pair.
Well, there was a possible straight out there and a few
He was just being
things, so he
cautious,
just
didn't he,
decided to call, yeah. Why does his opponent like it? He probably didn't think he liked it because he had the same hand. He probably thought he had something else. So that's why he was frightened. There we have a raise there with queens. A big raise as well. He's made it 8 times the big blind in late position. Wow, and he's got a caller here. In fact, a raiser, beg your pardon. Elvis is re-raised with ace-7. What sort of play is that?
That's a look. I was
That's
about to say it's a
wild.
nice flop for Greg as well with the overpair.
And there's the queens. It's a nice flop for me. I've got all my money in. Well, he can't believe his luck. What a wild play by Elvis. Goodness me. He's still got a few chips there left, but I think soon Elvis will leave the building if he carries on like that.
Yeah, so it's a rag ace at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
what types of people are going to be making big
Wow.
bets? It's generally people with
I think
with
he just
aces,
tried to
isn't
get
it?
him to put the hand down before the flop, and then he hit the flop half-heartedly with his 7, and then just stayed in there and lost the rest of the chips. Strange play.
Right, well, we do have an email here from Daz. Good evening to you, Daz. He says, we play a game every Tuesday with 40 and put blinds up 50 every 15 minutes for the first hour, and then 20 minutes after this. Do you think this is okay?
Michelle, I've got a confession. I was just...
Well, you're not listening to
No,
me,
well,
James.
I got directed by the gallery to have a look at my internet there, and I missed that little bit. Sorry about that.
Do you want me to do it
Yes,
again?
go on.
Daz says that we play a game every Tuesday with 40 and put the blinds up every 15 minutes for the first hour and then every 20 minutes after. Do you think this is okay?
Yes, but with 40.
I'm
40
assuming
players,
he
isn't it?
means
Or,
with 40 players, yeah.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
assuming.
But blinds are 15 minutes for the first hour, then 20 minutes after. I would actually keep it... I don't quite understand. Yes, it's okay. It's okay. If anything, I prefer it that way round to the other, because what it means is you give yourself a bit more play when the blinds are going up. So to have less play when the blinds are smaller and more play when the blinds are going up is, in fact, a good balance. I actually did the anti-structure for a big tournament last year, and what I did was I made the first 4 levels, I think it was half an hour, and then after that I put the levels up to 40 minutes. And the reason was to smooth it out so that when the blinds were more expensive, you did get that bit longer to play, and to try and give the players a bit more play when those blinds were more expensive. So that format you've got is for a friendly little tournament, that's fine.
And that's the beauty of playing in your own tournament as well. You can judge it, and if it's taking a bit too long, you can put the blinds up a bit quicker.
You can, but really you want to have it preset, otherwise...
Well, at your level, James, yes.
No, but even in a home game, I think you through practice you get to realise how long it'll take with how many players,
you
and you should just have that format and say, okay, we'll stick to it. Because if you start tampering back and forward, people might say, well, I'll trick because I need it or whatever. You know, keep it nice.
And arguments do happen. That's
Exactly.
happened to
Yeah,
me
I think it's
before,
best to have it written in blood. Then there's no arguments.
Right, so we're going back to our cash game, 25.50 cents. 25 cents, that's small blind 25, big blind 50. We can see we've got Ghostbuster, we've got Craven, we've got Portman Road, Niallo, Snap It, Tragic Trev, Shaky Shark, and Elvis. He's got 8-9, so he's got 7, 8, 9, 10 jack. He's got the straight, and he takes it down. So we can see there's the exact same format here. We've got the blinds, and then the person to the left of the blind will have to make the first decision. And after the flop, the person to the left of the dealer button is always first to act. And this changes the cards you play with, doesn't it? Depending on what position you're in, depending on what decisions you make.
Oh yes, listen, if you're in late position, if you're in a passive game, and by that I mean if people aren't raising very much, if you're in a late position and you can just limp in there, you could limp in there with a whole variety of cards if you're in late position. The reason being is because the latest position of all is on the button. But you could limp in there with lots of cards if you wanted to, because you've only got two people to act after you, and that's the people who are in the blinds. They're only there with the blind hands anyway, so the chances are they don't have anything brilliant. So you've only got to survive against them.
And that you actually pointed this out to me when I was playing my tournament, when I limped in a very early position with a mediocre hand, and you're like, somebody could easily, behind you, raise, make it too expensive, and then you've wasted that.
Yes, and if I remember rightly, I think you limped in, and I'm going to astound you now, you limped in with Queen Jack offsuit under the gun. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yes, that would be the one.
Right? No, you're impressed that I remembered it though, Michelle. It was a while ago.
It was.
Yeah, that was it, because there was too many people who could have... But listen, I'm proud of you that you've now... I know you're not going to do that again.
No, exactly, I won't.
And you remember, you know why you're not doing it. But if you'd been in a later position, I don't mind you doing it, and that's the difference. And that's great for you that you now know that difference, because you've got that endorsed in your mind now.
Yep, certainly.
So that's it.
And it does make complete sense. Somebody could easily raise behind me, and then I've wasted the original limp I put in.
And then you're frittering money away. Then it's no good, because we can't afford. Because basically, it's better. Generally, it's better to, supposing you limped in with 40, failed, limped in with 40 this, limped in with 40, 5 times you limped in with 40. I'll tell you what, more times than not, you'd be better off not doing any of the limping, taking that 200 and going in with that, with one hand, rather than limping in with 5 hands of 40.
And if you think about it like that, it just makes it so much cleaner, and you think, yeah, that would work. Because sometimes when you want to raise it, you think, oh, I don't want to afford it, but you would save money and stop limping.
It's like if you're having a fight, have a little tap, give a little tap, a little tap. Or how about saving up all the energy, give him one big hit? It might do a lot better.
Definitely. Okay, so we've got Queen 10, a King Queen, and an Ace Jack. So cards are quite high here.
So the King Queen has.
He's hit a king, surely got to
raised it, didn't he?
The Ace Jack raised, I think.
Oh, did I miss who did it? Okay, fair enough. He just, so Tragic Trevor just, he was on the blind, well, he beg your pardon, I lost track where we were. Yeah, so he called it. Well, I'm never very keen on calling with King Queens. As you know, I think King Queen rules in the land of the unraised pot, so I'm not keen on calling raises with it. And this is one of the reasons why.
Is this because generally when people are raising, it's because they're either sitting there with an ace or high cards or a high pair?
Yes, and hands that they're likely to raise with, you've got to have a look at the sort of window of hands which they might be raising with. Well, is a raiser likely to be raising with ace king?
Yep.
Is he likely to be raising with ace queen?
Probably.
Yeah. Your king queen is in a horrible situation against both of these hands which he's very likely to be raising with. So already you're delving into a very dodgy area. He can be could he be raising with aces? Could he be raising with kings? Could he be raising with queens? The answer is yes to all of these. Well, now we've already found 5 hands that king queen has a nightmare against. He's in a dodge. So what does the king queen want him to be raising with?
Yeah. I suppose he's hoping he's going to be raising with a 10-9, which isn't going to happen.
Right, you want him to raise with ace-jack. Wonderful. The ace-jack is still beating king-queen because he's got the higher card. So what does he want him to be raising with? And that's the thing. However, when, and the trouble is, the king-queen, if he hits his king or hits his queen, does he know where he is? Generally, he doesn't. So therefore, he has to play the pot cautiously. But can get involved paying someone off. So you can lose big and win small, and this is never a great bargain. It's
actually just something that I've read in the Sklanksy that I'm reading at the moment. He says this. He says when you have to bet big to win small, you shouldn't be in there. You shouldn't be playing. You want to be betting small to win big. That's how you make your money, and that's how you progress as a player.
Right.
But it's difficult sometimes to make. It's very difficult sometimes to make those decisions. It's when you're sitting there against one player and you've got king queen and you've hit the king. It's very difficult to know what they are sitting there with, because especially players at different levels are calling with all sorts of things.
But when you're in a pot which hasn't been raised and you've got king queen, and now you hit the top pair which is a king, or now you hit the top pair which is a queen, you can well believe that you've got the best hand. Because you could say, well, surely the ace-king would have raised, surely the ace-queen would have raised, so it's likely that they're not there. So suddenly your vision has become clearer, and you've got a far better idea of where you are.
So the things that we're hoping the people at home are thinking about, say for instance, you think they were kings, an ace comes out of the flop. So in your thought, your line of thought should be right. Especially if you're in late position, did anyone raise before the flop? Because if they've got an ace, they probably raised.
That's it. So we stop there. That's it. First of all, how did this whole hand start? Was there any raising? And we should ask that in every hand we're in. 1, for the big hand reason. 2, sometimes we find ourselves in an unraised pot and forget that there was no raising, and forget that there's a guy there on the big blind who's there with 2 random cards. He can have absolutely anything. He can have hit 2 pair, he could have hit this, he could have hit the most obscure straight in the world. Whatever's out there, he could have it, because it was a random card, and he was there by force of the game. There was no choice, he had to be there. But sometimes we forget that it wasn't raised. Oh, I say, surely he couldn't have got that. Yes, he could. He was there anyway. So that's, first of all, was it raised? And that's a very important question we should always go back to remember. And how much was it raised? Was it a diddly little raise, which people might have called with a wider range of hands? So we know less. If it's a diddly little raise, we know far less about the situation. Or was it 4 times the big blind? Ooh, well.
Maybe we're looking at a big pair.
Exactly. And who would call that? Now, the window of hands which our opponents can have has been narrowed considerably. And now, we will now have a better idea of where we are with our hand.
And there's so much, isn't there? And you do forget. You make decisions very quickly sometimes without taking into consideration everything that's happened previously in that hand. And even looking at people's position as well. Where is he? Early position. Would he be playing that hand in early position? Would he be playing that hand to a raise in that position? And sometimes you need to sit back and you don't. And I admit I don't sometimes. I make my decision and I haven't even thought about what happened before the flop. Or I've forgotten because I wasn't taking notice in the first place.
Yeah. No, we're all guilty of that at times. So therefore we've got to focus. Oh, let's have a look what's going on here. He's got it. He's not worried about the pairing of board there. He's got the ace of clubs and he said, oh, I think I'm winning. We missed the storyline a bit though, but that was the latter bit of it. So he's got, let's see what's happening here. No one's got too much.
What are you thinking of these hands like King 9, King 10?
In this money game. In a money game, because the blinds don't go up, you should be pretty selective, I think. I mean, I could put in a small raise on the button here, depending what my opponents are like. Yes, he's made it 2, that's fine. Snap it's called.
He's hit 2 pair.
Well, so, oh, he's hit 2 aces and 5s. There's snap it there's got a middle pin straight draw. And Nilo's just popped in $1 there, which is quite cute. It's actually suckered snap it along there. But how cute is it? Because if a 3 came, snap it will improve enough to beat the 2 pair. Oh, at least he's put a proper sized bet in now. Oh, snap it! Wowee! Wow. Over the top. What is he representing there?
Oh, and another raise from the aloe.
Well, snap it's going to have to put it down now. I believe snap it will put this down.
So, what do you think? Snappy was trying to push Nialo off there?
Yes, he because of the $1 bet, he didn't believe that, and Snappy did put it down, well done in the end. He didn't believe that Nialo had the ace. So therefore he just called it. And then he checked on the turn when the 10 came. Nialo bet $3.50 or whatever. Snap it raised to $10.50.
Which is unfortunate because usually that'd be enough to push somebody off.
Pretending I had the ace already. I know you don't have it because you only bet $1. I've now come over the top of you. I might have even hit 2 pair. Whatever he's trying to represent, he thinks he's had a good hand. But of course, it didn't work. But it was a semi-bluff by Snap It because Snap It did have the middle pin straight draw.
So he did have outs.
If his opponent did just call it, but his opponent didn't wear it and re-raised Snap It. Snap It wasn't getting the odds. and he put it down. So
It was unfortunate he was trying the move on Yellow, who at that point had the 2 pair.
And we can see now Snap It is topped up to 50.
So he's topped himself right back up again.
Yes, which because he wants to have, Snap It is wants to have the full range of artillery there. He wants to be able to make these moves, come over the top of people if he wants to. So he wants to have all the weapons. He doesn't want to be...
Well, we can see, look at Craven sitting there with 108. He's doubled up his money. If the maximum you can sit down with is 50, which it is.
Yeah, but he might have topped up like Snap It, so you can't always tell what someone's doing, can you?
We may have done a few times, but on this particular top-up of 50, we can see, because he can't come in with over 50 in any one go.
Yes, but if he'd had, say, 30 and topped up to 50, he's already, that's 20 lost.
Although he could have been doing it all day, couldn't he? So.
But I'm saying, so you can't fully tell, you see. You can't tell with Snap It. If you look at Snap It, you say, well...
No idea if he's up or down in the long run.
Right, well, we know probably he's just topped up, so he's
up.
down. Well, no, Snap It's down.
It's down in this game, but
overall, no,
he's probably up.
I think I'm sure he is up, but I'm saying in this game, we know he's probably down at the moment. But you can't always tell what someone's got just because of what they've got in front of them.
But you can tell on this one top up, so because he can only ever put in 50, forgetting what he's done before that, on this particular top up of 50, he's doubled up.
On this top up of 50, yes.
He's doing very well, that's what I meant.
All right, but that's irrelevant, isn't it? Because he might be...
I was just trying to make him feel good.
Oh, okay, right.
Because he's doing well at the moment.
All right, we know he's doing well at the moment. I mean, I don't think that's a great thing to be telling people on how you're doing the top up at the moment, though. I think it's the overall
doing
picture
very well
is...
at the moment.
Yeah.
So feel good about yourself. As Elvis gets 2 pair with the hidden 3s.
Bets 150 into a $2 pot. And good enough. And what did he have as well as a pair of 3s? He had position and used it well. Tragic Trev, who's topped up as well, or makes it $2. Ghostbuster. K6. Portman doesn't want to know.
So Trev takes it down.
Wins the 75 cents. Nialo's got a pair of 9s in the big blind. Is he going to get any opposition? He certainly is, because Elvis has got pair of 10s. And makes it 3.
Oh, that awful hand King Jack. I always get King Jack and think, if I'm on the button, yeah. If I'm in early position, no.
But you wouldn't have called a raise with it, would you?
Not a raise with it, no.
Okay.
But the thing is with King Jacks, even if you do hit a Jack or a King, it's...
Let's have a look at this. We've got Nialo there. It needs a 6 for his straight, which will give him 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's what's tempted him to call it. Plus he has got the overpair anyway. But of course Elvis has got the bigger overpair. He makes it 18, charges a lot of money. Nialo can't play anymore. Also, he was saved because that ace came. He didn't like the look of the ace. So although he mightn't have realised he had a pair of 10s, all of a sudden... didn't like that ace raising its ugly head, and that was enough to save him as it happens, because he was losing to the 10s.
To the 10s, so the ace did save him, even though
could have helped him.
We're going to have, just before we go to the break, we're going to have a quick look over at the multi-table tournament, actually. So if we go over there quickly now, just to see how everybody's doing, because it's nice to pop in, because we will be watching the last table.
Pop in.
Queen Jack suited. Hands like Queen Jack, when they're suited, does this change your decision to whether you play with this hand or not?
Yeah, a little bit sometimes. If I'm in late position in the early stages of a tournament, I might be more inclined to limp in with it because it gives me a few more options how to play it after the flop. But it's not going to be a massive deciding point for me. But that would be the time it would make a difference. I will notice it if I'm playing heads up against someone.
Yeah.
Because if I've got a suited hand, that extra percentage might mean I might be in a situation where I have to call because I'm really now low on chips. I think I'm probably going to be, that suited might take me up to a 40% chance of winning the hand. Mm-hmm. And and that might be enough to say, oh, I'm only 6-4 against, now I can afford to call it or whatever. So I might take note of it there.
Well, we've got 60 players left.
All right.
The big stack is 4,960.
Yes.
And the small stack is 230.
Right.
Blinds 5,100, as we can see. So only 60 players left. What did we start with?
113.
113.
So the average now is 2,825.
So only a couple of people, 3 people above average on this table, the rest below.
Yes, we've got Balrog there, who is one of our regulars, going along very nicely.
So I suppose here, Ace Duel should be thinking, right, was there a raise pre-flop? Could anybody be holding into the race?
Yep, that's good questioning. Well, he's obviously decided to check and call.
A little bit passive, maybe?
No, I think it's because he had a low kicker and he didn't want to sort of make the pot too big or then get someone to scare him off it. So I think he decided that the option he was going to check and call and hope that no one bet too much. And he felt he was winning, but he wasn't sure. So he kept the pot as small as he could. Which is a good idea. If you're not sure where you are, it's a good idea to try and keep it small.
And he was on the small blind as well, so he was first to act.
Up and down straight and a backdoor flush for Chelsea.
He decided to go all in with it.
Wow. And there's a pair of nines. The better hand puts it down. As it happens, he had the 2 blockers there for his straight. But Chelsea asked a big question and got the chips. Lines are 5,100, so each round's costing 150.
If you're sitting there at the moment with 1,000, so that's 10 big blinds, hands like medium pairs, are these hands good enough to be pushing with?
I'm still not quite... How much? 1,000 I've got, did you say?
Because I was in this exact situation the other day. I had about 1,000 and the big blind was about 100. And I had a pair of sixes.
Getting close to it, yeah.
And I really could not... I mean, I only had one person behind me.
Oh, yeah.
So I put it all in and he called with the ace-king. And I was lucky that he didn't hit.
Well, no, you were favourite.
But at the time, I was thinking sixes it's so low, but...
Well, the thing is it's very difficult to play the hand another way because you're going to hate every card on the flop anyway. You're going to hate 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, jack, queens, kings, aces. So you don't know where you are. Plus, you don't have that many... You can't just do an ordinary sized raise because you now haven't got so many chips left. It's very difficult to play. So in that case there, you had sort of like about 6.5 rounds left with 1,000 chips with the antes that size you were quoting here. Therefore, a push wasn't too bad at all. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good because it's just one of those hands that I remembered that I really didn't know whether I was doing the right thing or not. We do have an email here from Crumble, who's also Dead Man. He's talking about Dead Man's Hand. He says, good evening, Michelle and James. I'm looking forward to another good show. I have a poker trivia question that you might be able to help me with. Now, we all know that Wild Bill Hickok was shot dead while holding 2 black aces and 2 black eights, the Dead Man's Hand. But poker is a 5-card game. My question is, what was his other hand? Do you know, James?
In my mind, I've got a red 7 is coming up.
Oh, okay. Well, it'd be interesting to know if anyone at home knows.
But I'm not certain.
Wild Bill Hickok. What was the 5th card? 2 black aces, 2 black eights, Dead Man's Hand. What was the 5th card? If you know, get it into us. We do have to go to a break now, James.
Oh, okay.
When we come back, I will be doing Beat the Presenter. If you know the answer to that question, then please text in. The text number, here it comes, is new, so I've forgotten. So I'm going to have to wait for it to come up. There it is. 84222, that's it. 84222. Excuse me. 84222. There we go. And poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the email. So if you do know the answer to that, please do let us know. And you think it might be a red 7.
Yeah, it's something in my mind. I'm not sure why. Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't go anywhere. We've got Beat the Presenter after the break. James doing some commentary. So get yourself comfortable, and we'll see you in about 5 minutes.
See you soon. And welcome back to Poker Night Live. I'm going to be presenting for a little while because Michelle's got her head down there concentrating as hard as she can. She's playing in Beat the Presenter.
Really?
And of course we will be seeing the results of this hard work later in the night. It's exciting, isn't it? I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure you are as well. Anyway, you did ask before the break about Dead Man's Hand, what the other card was. Well, I've been doing a little bit of research for you.
He has, he's been very good.
And
been on the old net,
I haven't got anything clear, but we've got a bit of information here. Some people, in fact in Deadwood, they've got the hand on display there, and the 5th card there is the 5 of diamonds. However, also in Deadwood, somewhere else, they've got it is a 9 of diamonds. And then in Ripley's Believe It or Not, which is like sort of a spin-off of like Man of the Swords type of place, they've got it as the Queen of Clubs. And the last bit of evidence is in the 1936 movie, which is called The Plainsman with Gary Cooper, the 5th card was the King of Spades. Well, we've got 4 choices there. If you've got any other ideas, let us know. We'll try and solve this 5th card mystery for Dead Man's Hand. Okay, well apparently we've got an email here. We'll have a little look in the box. Of course it won't refresh. I'll tell you what, let's go to the MTT instead.
Right,
I
it
normally
always
get
does that to you when you're not when you're
yeah.
not
I clicked the refresh button. It didn't want to do it. It's like the computer back home. Here we are, MTT time. And I'm going to be able to inform you how many people are left. In fact, it's 39. It's certainly whizzing along. And the largest sack... Oh, sack, no. Yes, he's got his chips in a sack, actually. He thought he'd play a bit differently tonight. The largest stack is 6,871. And the smallest stack is 412. So as we've worked out before, there is 169,500 chips in the tourney. So average stack now is about 4,300. And the blinds we can see are 75, 150. And the update on my refreshing of the emails is, it still hasn't refreshed, it's stuck. Oh, hang on, it's come alive now, maybe. Right, Pyratite, or Piratite, sounds rude. Got 4 Jack of Clubs. Aidslip with the Queen 9's got top pair, and Abasak has got Ace 10. And Michelle is chatting. She's not saying a word, she's on the chat box. I can hear her. Or she's trying to enter another 7 tournaments.
Oh, no. Well, I do get a bit chatty, I have to say. And I should be concentrating, shouldn't I? I shouldn't be chatting.
It's distracting, that chat.
You're my bad luck charm anyway, because last time I didn't do very well when I was with you.
Come on, you normally say I'm your good luck for you because you say if you're miserable, I cheer you up.
Yeah, you do cheer me up.
Right, and now you say I'm your bad luck charm. That's not nice. I thought you were my buddy.
We are buddies.
Okay. Aidslip, Ace 5 suited. I've even chatted to your dad.
You have, haven't you?
Yeah.
Been on the phone to my dad while he was playing. I'm trying to get him on the TV tables. But he won't have any of it.
Yeah,
because he doesn't want me commentating on his play.
Don't blame him. Get your daughter pulling you to pieces, no good. Okay, nice hand for Aidslip in the big blind there. Ace Queen suited. And takes down the blinds. Right, as well as the 5th card, if Michelle was having a snack while she was playing poker, What do you think the snack would be? Would it be like sort of a ciabatta Caesar salad, or would it be a ham and tomato sandwich, or pork pie, sausage roll, bag of crisps? What do you reckon? Steak and kidney pie? I don't know.
James, I would never snack while I'm working.
Or would she never snack while she was working? That might be the answer. I missed it here.
Balrog thinks it's a big Knickerbocker glory. And Aid thinks it's jammy dodgers.
Wrong!
Much healthier than that. And it's not Frankfurter's, Bandit. It's not
Okay,
chips.
we're going to go do a $20 sit and go now.
Very healthy.
Here we go. 10-20, starting at the first level. They started with 1,000 chips. Crazy Gum, A7, pass. Wow, I didn't even see the cards, they passed so quick. Flop, A6-3 of spades. Golden Jaguar's got a spade. Monty, no real help with that flop. Golden Jaguars, seen a check ahead of him. Doesn't try anything. Monty, of course, winning by virtue of having the higher card. He checks. Will Golden Jaguar try something? No. It's early stages. Golden Jaguar's got a few more chips. He maybe could just pop in a 30 here. Take it down. Or attempt to take it down. He's obviously thinking about it. Well, think a bit quicker, Golden Jaguar. We've got a sit and go to get through. No, he decided not to, and Monty won it just with the high card. King. Boyce under the gun with A3. No thanks. Crazy Gum, K9. Dog of a hand. Crazy Gum passes. Frantic. 3-5 off suit. Not too pretty. Not playing frantically, however. Playing really slowly. Martinique, 10 king, limps in. And he's got a flush draw. So Golden Jaguar, no connection with the flop. Snaky, Queen 9, no connection either. Martinique, there's two checks. Oh, and he's made it. He's made the... Well, it's not the nut flush. The nut flush would be the 4-5 of hearts, because it would be a straight flush. But he's made the next best thing, which is the Ace-King flush. Well, it's the Ace-King 10-3-2 flush. The board hasn't paired. He's pretty sure that he's got the best hand. He's got the second best hand. Possible, but he doesn't get any money from it. Crazy Gum. 10-3 of spades. Are you concentrating, Michelle?
I am.
Are you?
They're being rude.
Oh.
They want you to streak, James.
Oh, do they? It's not Flirty Liz, is it?
Oh, it could be. Because she quite likes it, doesn't she?
Is it Flirty Liz? The boys want me to streak. I am getting worried. Frantic. Under the gun. 5-6 off suit. Monty. Baby raised with King Queen. Called by the pair of sevens. Called by Ace 10. Boyce, 8-4, doesn't look very appealing, passes. And I think Crazy Gum should have a look, he does. Got a nut flush draw possibility, but he's only clicked one spade. And an up and down straight for Monty. And a middle pair for Snaky there. Well, the Ace-3's obviously got to go. I think the up and down straight's going to have a look. And he's done it, he's hit this straight, and this is going to be trouble for Snaky, because Snaky's now got two pairs. There's 350 in the pot. Well done, Snaky, not too much. What is Monty going to do? Snaky's bet 60 into a pot of 350, and he's made it 250. Oh my goodness me, Snaky has hit the jackpot. He's made a full house on the river. Monty can't believe it. Full house for Snakey, beats the Broadway, the top straight. Well, an action-packed hand there. Of course, going to the river, Snakey was 10 to 1 against. He had 2 pairs, aces and tens, but to beat that straight, he was 10 to 1 against. He would only win 1 time out of 11. Real
What's going on,
TV
James?
flop.
It sounds really exciting.
It is. It's exciting stuff here. You're going to have to... Is your dad recording? You can watch this one when you get home. Frantic. Flush draw. Queen 7. Hand commonly thought to be the average hand in poker. Queen 7 suited just above average, however. Ace 8. Another river ace comes along. Aces and threes. Monty desperately needing to win this. The lowest stack at the table now, of course, after his after the demise of his top straight. Snakey limps in with a pair of 2s. Crazy gum, 8-6 on the button. Decides not to have a look. Frantic, I think he'll make up the small blind. He does with King 10. No raise from Martinique. Frantic, top pair there. With a king kicker. Martinique calls with the middle pair. He's got the pair of 7s. Pair of deuces lagging behind there. Desperately needs a 2. Small bet from Frantic there with the 10. Definitely think he should have actually charged a bit more now. But, well, he'll like that. It's given him trips. There's 180 in the middle. He bet 60. He's getting paid from Martinique. Thank you very much. Takes him back to 90 over his starting position, so he'll be pleased with that. We've still got a full complement of players, although Monty's on a life support at the moment. Oh, ace against ace, but it's kickers which are going to count. And of course, Boise's got the king kicker. What's Snakey doing in there? I'm not sure. 10-9, he's just clicked a 9. Anyone got a... Yeah, Boise's got the king of clubs as well. Fantastic. Nut flush draw for Boise as well as top pair. He's got a great hand there. Surely you must realise it. The ace-jack's bet into him. What's Boise? Yes, he's raised it. He bet 80, he's done 3 times his bet, made it 240. Martinique can't like this. Oh my goodness, he's just re-raised, set himself all in. There's no question Boise's going to call. He has called, he has won it. It's a pair of aces with the king is the determining card. And Martinique, that was sloppy play from you, pal. Playing ace with a suspect kicker in the early stages, came up against a bigger kicker. And played too fast with the standard of hand you had. 5, 6, 10. Monty's got the top pair. Bets 120. Oh, not many people know as Monty's number, you know. Frantic there, ace king. Latish position. I'm sure he's going to raise this. How much is he going to make it? 80, 40 with 40. Namixist. Pair of jacks makes it 240. Frantic just calls. Can't like the flop now. Must have been worried about that re-raise from name exists. And he's got plenty to worry about now because he's bet 440. Is he good enough to put it down? He is. Well done, Frantic. Name exists. Goes up to 1240. Creeps into 3rd place. Boise out in front at the moment, followed by Snakey.
How you doing, James?
I'm going along fine here at the moment. And it's a good sit and go. I'm quite lively. Top pair for Snakey. top pair for Boyce, who's got the slightly better kicker. Not a great kicker, but better than Snakey's. Snakey calls. Well, what does Snakey think Boyce has got? Snakey's checked. Boyce bets 120. Snakey calls. And just check down on the end there. Boyce there didn't have a great kicker. Turned out to be a better one than Snakey, but in the end he couldn't have that much confidence with it. That's a problem when you have a suspect hand. You can never be quite sure where you are. And in the end, although Boyce did bet a bit, got paid a bit, he wasn't fully sure where he was, and he couldn't actually maximise his win. Well, Snakey will have a good idea where he is here. Pair of kings against the 2 blinds. He's going to feel very confident. I think he's slightly overbet it there. Probably wants to get action against one of those players. Well, no raise, I don't think, from Frantic here on the big blind with King Deuce, a pretty troublesome hand. However, he has got the King of Clubs, which gives him a flush draw. Snakey's got the middle pair, and now Boyce has overtaken the middle pair with his 7. He's also got a straight draw. No one's got an ace. We can see that Boyce is actually ahead. Frantic was praying for a club. Didn't come. Shabby hand for Boyce there, 2-5. Think he'll pass that. Frantic. Is he going to raise from the small blind or just make it up? He just makes it up. Name exists, checks. Frantic checks. Name exists, checks. Okay, it's 2 pairs. We can see the Frantic's ahead here because it's 2 pairs, 10s and 8s with an ace, as opposed to 2 pairs, 10s and 8s with a king. Both played it cautiously, but it is still only the 2nd level, so there's nothing wrong with that. Frantic, late position with ace 4, just decides to limp in. Name exists, calls, just makes up the small blind. And name exists has hit the top pair. Frantic has nothing here, easy pass. And then we have percentage of hands played. So Snakey's playing an awful lot of hands here. He's played 50% of the hands. Wow. Boyce, name exists, and Crazy Gum only playing 18%. And hands won. Boyce has won 100% of played hands, which accounts for him being chip leader. Snakey won only 25%, but he's played an awful lot of hands. But we can see that although Snakey has played a lot, he actually happens to be up there in the top 3.
She, apparently.
Oh, Snakey's a she?
Apparently.
Wrong-footed me with the name. Miss Snakey. Where did you get this information from, Mish?
Mrs. Bandit.
Mrs. Bandit?
Who loves Scotty.
Oof. You know all about the poker soap here. This is good. Mrs. Bandit, who loves Scotty, says Snakey's a fit little girl. There we go. Golden Jaguar's got 9 jack, which means it's a straight. 9, 10, jack, queen, king. Happy days. Boise has got the queens, a pair. Jag bets 160. Boise quite correctly passes. Well done. Monty's still surviving there with his low stack, but it's going to get difficult because it's up to 40-80. Strange call by Frantic. I don't like it at all. Under the gun with king 3. Very suspect call for 80. That 80 could be used in a better way. Monty, he's picked the right time. He's got a very low stack. He's pushed with ace 8. I think that's very good play. He's picked the right time to push, regardless of what happens. Crazy Gum needs to put in 110 to make up the money for Monty's bet. And he's deliberating. Problem is he's got Frantic after him. He doesn't know what he's going to do. So he's passed. Now Frantic is called. And Monty ahead at the moment. No one's got a heart. And Monty just confirmed his victory with an ace on the end there. He didn't actually need it. As long as there wasn't a king or a 3, he was going to be winning it. And it's a good lifeline for Monty. He's now back to at least half what his starting stack was. He's got 500. Very relieved. But he did pick the right time to play, so I'm very pleased about that.
It's time for bed for little Tiny.
Oh.
It's the bedtime, and you've been told by the telly. Telly's telling you have to go to bed.
Michelle doesn't look that happy, I'm afraid. She's very competitive. She doesn't take it well.
Hey, you don't know. I could be winning.
You could be winning, yeah. Snaky there, ace-5 suited. Deliberating. Miss Snaky. That's what the SS could be. It could be the start of Miss, which she wrote at the start of it. Crazy Gum. Late position. 3 times the big blind. Takes down the blinds. Boise limps in with his deuces. Frantic. Likes to limp, yeah, limps the game with ace-3. He's got to be careful because he hasn't got many chips here. I prefer Frantic to be keeping his chips now when you have that many for betting rather than limping. Name exists, raises. Monty calls a raise, all in, i.e. raising the raise by 100. Frantic had to pass, leaving 80 behind, which was a significant amount of his stack. Frantic's cursing now because he'd have won with the ace. And Monty's won that one. He'd hit the queen on the river. And look at that. Monty, who was down to 190, has now got 1,080. Back in the game. Jag makes up the small blind with 3-5. He needs a middle pin, 4 for a straight. And Snaky wins with 8. 8 high. Wow, what a result.
Right, I'm back, James. Tournament's
really
finished.
Back?
Yep.
Did they guess what you were eating?
No. Although it was fun to play that game for a while.
It was it? They didn't get too naughty with it, did they?
No, they were fine. They're all lovely.
What was it about me streaking?
Yeah, I want you to streak, James, on the telly.
Oh,
Oh, Flirty Liz is watching.
oh is she?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know?
Because Mrs. Bandit told me.
Mrs. Bandit knows everything.
She does.
How does she know Flirty Liz is watching?
I don't know. Maybe they... Maybe it's like a James fan club and they're all in the same place. It could be.
Well, hi Flirty Liz if you are watching.
It's James. James Browning. Right, so what's going on here then,
This
James?
has been a very lively game. We've had all sorts going on here. Frantic, oh, the Frantic's on the small blind here. I've been criticising Frantic a bit because he's been limping a bit too much with strange hands when he can't afford to. You should better to keep those chips to bet with and rather than limp with. You can only afford to limp either when the blinds are very small or when you've got a big stack of chips. You can't be affording to limp. You can't afford to limp when you've got just a small stack. Did you ever see Midnight Cowboy?
I don't think I have. Actually, have I? Midnight Cowboy,
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
No?
I don't know, not that I can remember. But I know the film.
I was going to make a joke, it's no good you've not seen the film.
Yeah, but I'm sure people out there have seen it.
No, I'm leaving it down. Right. Boise, all in there with Queen Jack suited. Frantic there, getting his chips in with the proper hand this time. Pair of nines. Oh my goodness. Boise's made the flush. There we go. Frantic's got two pairs, tens and nines, but Boise, wow, that was big play there by Boise there. A real hand for Crazy Gum. Makes it 320 here. The blinds up here. Expensive game. It's a problem. 81.60. No one really has a lot of play here. Because each round is going to cost 240. A lot of pressure.
See, when you're at this level and you've got 840 and the blinds are that high, every time you're thinking about playing a hand, generally you want to be raising. You can't be limping anymore because you just can't afford to limp. So every time you're thinking about playing a hand, you're thinking, I could be risking my whole tournament on this hand.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's so difficult then to make that decision.
Yes, it is. And Monty in that situation there, basically, the problem is here is, there's a trend actually that these sit and goes have been played pretty tight, and the problem is this is quite a fast structure because the blinds do go up every 10 hands. So at this stage now, there's an awful lot of people here under pressure.
It is very fast,
because
isn't it?
we've only got 6 players left, you see, and it's a lot of them are under pressure because each round is costing 240. And this next level, which it goes up, is going to be 160, 320. So each round will cost 480. Well, if you divide your stack by 480, help! It's scary.
I think sometimes it takes you by surprise how quick it is as well. You think you can.
Big hand here, trips for Golden Jaguar, 8 sevens, hit the 7.
Top
Name
pair.
exists, he had the top pair on the flop, which was the king, but no good against trip 7s, and Jaguar's got a healthy stack there, 1740. But even so, if you divide his stack by 240, it's, he's only heading for 7.
Those blinds creep up on you very quickly though in these
They
fast
certainly do.
tournaments. But then how can you use that in your favour? If you're used to playing slow games of a lot of play, and then you have to be in a fast-paced game, what do you need to do?
Well, basically, you've got to realise, you've got to be able to pull the trigger. You've got to say, well, I've got to risk my tournament life here, and I've got to. If you see, basically, you start having to play situations just as much as playing your cards. And that's it, basically. You've got and so now you can still be looking at your opponents, and if you know any special traits they've got, if you know that they don't like calling bets, etc., etc., this will all help to find your situation when you can make a move. Now, also, you've got to be sort of far less selective with your hand. And if you can see some semblance of a hand and you think the situation is right, it's probably time to push because you haven't got many other options.
There doesn't seem to be as much play through the board, if you get what I mean. It seems to be a lot more pre-flop a lot of the time. And
well, it will have to be, because the problem is when you're down to about 800 and you're putting in 160 or you're putting in 320, if you put in 320, which is just like 160 with 160, well, then you're only left with 530. Well, if your 320's in there and someone else's 320's in there, that's 640 in the middle. And now they bet 530, that means there's 1170 in the middle, and you've got 530 left. Well, you're getting over 2 to 1 your money. You're getting 2.2 to 1 your money. So, you know, you're more or less, you're getting almost pot committed, because a lot of situations you're not going to be that much against.
Yeah. You're
not going to be that odds against, you know. So that's a problem. So even if you're in a hand where you're in one of these like 64, 36% chances, you're getting paid more than that. So therefore, if you're even against like ace-jack against 10-8, well, you've probably got about 36%, you probably have to be in there now with it, because once that initial move's gone, if someone now bets again, you more or less have to call it if you think he's just got a regular hand. But generally, the principle follows that we more times than not want to be betting than calling. Why is that, Michelle?
Well, various reasons.
There's one big reason.
Because you want to be the aggressor. You want to.
Why? Go on. It's
because you want to push them off. You want to take the pot down.
Right, and you okay? That's fine. You've got it. Because when you're the better, there's always a chance that they will pass.
Yeah.
So you have fold equity. That's what we call it.
Fold equity. That's what you were looking for.
So therefore, because you've got fold equity, if you're the better, you've got fold equity. Okay? Get this in your head. When you're calling, there's only one way you're going to win, is by having the best hand at showdown. The other way, you've got fold equity, and this is massive. Because all of a sudden, out of the blue, we've seen it before, someone with even a very small stack of chips, where you definitely should call, has passed. He's been looking and thinks, I can stay alive by passing here. All of a sudden, you've got him to pass. So that fold equity is magical, it's marvellous, and has to be taken advantage of. So still, the principle is more times than not, we want to be the aggressor, not the caller. If you've got a big hand, you can be a caller. If you think you're winning, you can be a caller. But otherwise, you want to be winning in a good style, because otherwise, the better will have a far better situation, because the percentage of times that you'll pass is gone to him, plus the percentage of times his hand will just win a normal occurrence. You add them both together. Okay, Monty. Oh, on the turn, he's got what he needs. He's got an ace. Poor old Snakey. Poor old Miss Snakey. Hard lines there. Had the better hand and got bubbled. Bubbled when you were favourite.
That's never nice.
Can you confirm to us that you are a lovely lady, Snakey?
A lovely lady. So I was playing a married couple in the tournament I played in.
Oh.
Scotty and Fast Bandit.
I'm going to have to keep in touch with you for all the information here, because I think it's a bit like EastEnders or something. You know it all. It's fantastic. Do you watch the
My problem is I'm too busy chatting and not playing. Not playing.
Is there a compilation sort of on a Sunday for the Poker Night Live where you can work out what's happened during the week and everything, watch it all at once?
The Poker Night Live.
Who's Fast Bandit married to?
Scotty.
The Scotty, all right.
Because Fast Bandit is a lady.
Oh, Fast Bandit's a lady?
Yep.
All right, I'm getting this right. So Snakey's a lady, Fast Bandit's a lady, Scotty's a man, I presume. I don't know, maybe not.
Yep.
And, okay, right, I'm getting there now. Snakey and...
I'll keep you posted as I find. Flirty Liz is watching. She's got a bit of a flame for you.
All right, but is she...
Oh, look, we just lost somebody as well.
Flirty Liz is definitely female, though, I hope.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I think. Maybe not.
I'm sure she is. I feel it in the air.
No. Wait, see. Oh, he's got a diamond he could grab. Doesn't come.
But Ace Queen is enough. bigger kicker. Here we go. The blinds are 326.40. And bang, he bets it out there and takes it down. Good hand he had. Okay. Oh, passes. Oh, we're trying to be a little bit selective here. There's not a lot of play here though, because the blinds are very big, 326.40. We're playing. Ooh, there, that's what we want, says Golden Jaguar. I know to put all my chips in now. Oh, just a friendly raise. Please play, please play. Does so. Oh, and that's good news for Golden Jaguar because Monty's hit the jack. Bad news for Monty. The Kings is going to get paid 640 only. Oh, and a race from Monty. That's it. Golden Jaguar presses the button.
It's all gone in.
All gone in. It's not over though because Monty had more chips, but yep. Golden Jaguar, big stack now.
And it's still easily turn around.
He can turn around, but he'll need to win this hand, and it's looking bleak because Golden Jaguar's hit the jack.
It's a king.
Needs a king, nothing else. Only 3 outs.
Oh, and it doesn't come.
It isn't there.
7, 8, 9,
we
10.
have a winner. It's Golden. Oh, hang on. What did I miss
7,
there?
8, 9,
oh
10,
yes.
Jack.
Oh yes.
Oh,
he did survive. Yeah, beg your pardon. He had the straight.
I
Sorry,
thought there was
Monty.
4 to the straight there.
Yeah, beg your pardon. Fantastic. We've got the battle resumes, and that's a good hand to follow up with, isn't it? Ace 10. Whacks that in there, and hit the ace. My goodness.
He could come back from this.
Can definitely come back.
He's a 5 or a 4 for Golden Jaguar.
Doesn't get it. And Monty now has recaptured the lead. He's got 4,640. Oops, 7-2. Not nice when you've got 1280 on the big blind, is it? Right, there's 1920 in the middle. If he calls a 640, oh my goodness, 25, and he's raised. Oh my goodness, horrible situation. Reluctantly passed it. Well, I'd have been tempted just to push all in there and hope to get my opponent to pass.
So Monty's still got some work to do.
And that's what Golden Jaguar's done now, but Monty's called this time. Got a flush draw. King winning, however.
He had to put his last 70 in, didn't he, really?
Needs to pair. Yes, does do. Gets a 10. Goodness me, it's exciting stuff here. On the river, the saving 10. Surrenders. Well, this will be it. No one's surrendering here, surely. No. And A7's got a call. Ah, look at that. Hit them both. But a 2 will still... Oh, or a heart as well now. Another out for Golden Jaguar. Oh my goodness me. The other out came. It's a 2 flush. Unbelievable. 2 pairs for Monty and Golden Jaguar made a flush. And this is all going in again now. Monty is definitely going all in this time with King Queen.
It's really been back and forth, hasn't it?
It's fantastic. And I don't know why...
This is how heads up should be all the
Yeah,
time.
riveting. And it's 7-8-7, so the ace is out in front. He needs a king or a queen. Still needs a king or a queen. 6 outs. Is it going to be there? It's not. We have a winner. The winner is Golden Boy Jaguar.
There's the chip movement graph. Look at that. That is wonderful.
It is, but why are those colours too similar? That's really
the
made it
white
difficult.
And pink there.
Yeah, the white and pink. But we can see along there they were very steady in the early stages. They saved all their action for the later stages, which is basically the way a sit and go should be played. And they had loads of up and downs there. And eventually the winner, after very, very exciting and topsy-turvy battle, was Golden Jaguar.
Topsy-turvy.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Are you drunk?
I'm not drunk. Why am I? No. What do you think I am? Devilfish.
Okay, we're going to go to It's quite funny. So we're going to go to a multi-table tournament just to catch up and see how everybody's doing. Oh, James, you're so funny. Right, here we go. We've got Bono on this table. Oh, I was talking to him on the forum the other day. Right, look, ace is there. Now,
hang on.
It's a good hand, isn't it?
Michelle will tell us the sexes of all the players here now.
Oh, Zorro, I like that name.
Oh, Zorro
That's
has to be a male.
It's got to be male. It's got to be male.
Is he?
Of course it is. Do you know what? There's only 15 players left
Oh,
of our multi-table
fantastic. So
tournament.
there's 8 on this one, 7 on...
30 is our big stack.
Oh, right.
Peritit. Oh, Peritit is our big stack, not 30. 11,950 is our big stack. So he's doing rather well.
He certainly is. And...
I'm playing in a multi-table tournament tomorrow night.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It might even be the televised one, I'm not sure yet.
Oh, I hope it is, because I'll be working tomorrow night.
No, because you make me play badly.
Oh, don't start that.
Because
Hang on, well, I tell you things which makes you play well, though.
yeah, you do, but then I get scared because you're there.
What, you think I'm going to shout at you?
Yeah, well, you do. You do. Tell me off.
Do I? Michelle, I don't.
Right, did you do Stan's email? Did you? No, right, thank you.
15 people left.
Yeah, 15 people left.
That's interesting.
Why? Tell us what you're thinking, James.
Because the average should be 11,300. It doesn't look quite right.
Well, we'll check
The plot thickens.
to make sure our numbers are correct.
Okie doke.
Is there multi-table tournaments? Because you're playing in them so much longer than a normal Cinco tournament, you feel so much more protective over your chips. Because you think, well, I don't want to go all in and risk going out because I've been playing for so long, I've been trying so hard. Well, this is how I feel anyway. But do you have to take these risks in a multi-table tournament? Because you need the chips, you need to be big stacked.
It's back to where we were before. It's all a matter of getting an indication of actually where you are, how much play have you got left. Mm-hmm. That's what it's all down to.
So you don't need to be making huge risks when
Not
you're average stacked.
There's 2 things that you're bothering about in a tournament, in a multi-table tournament. You're bothering about having a fine balance between accumulating chips and protecting your tournament life. That's what the whole thing is about. So it's a fine balance between accumulating chips and protecting your tournament life. And this is what we've got to do. And we've got to keep this balance. And we now
But to accumulate chips, surely you have to risk your tournament life.
You have. And now we have to judge how much risk we have to take according to our situation. So therefore, when we get to the nitty-gritty, where all of a sudden we look at how many chips we've got, we say, my goodness, I've hardly got any time left. Now you're going to have to take a risk because you've got no choice. So now you probably are going to have to make an all-in move or whatever because you have no choice. But all the way along the line, we have to evaluate where we are and how much risk we need or have to take. So that's what it's about. But generally, the least number of times we go to the showdown, the better.
Okay.
Because the more times you go to a showdown, the harder it is to win the tournament.
Right.
Because even if you're going there as favourite, it doesn't matter. If you're 6-4 on favourite and you go to showdown, if you go there 10 times, my goodness, you're massive odds against to survive all this.
So you need to be putting chips in. You need to be trying to take down these pots if you think you're ahead.
A lot of times in a multi-tournament, you should be very happy to take chips down without showing your cards, a lot of times. I played in I mentioned it before, and this is an example of this, is I played in the one on the cruise with 320 odd players or something. I think I came 3rd. I didn't get cards particularly. I was in the lowish stacks a lot of times, but I kept myself going by taking pots down where they didn't see my card. And I was having to play situations. I'd be in the latest position, I see that this person's very tight on the blind, I haven't played a hand for a while, so I've built up credibility, and think, oh goodness, he's played a hand now, he must have something. I push the bet in, take down the blind, or whatever. Or even play a pot, and then fire and take down the pot. But the more times you can get the chips without showing your hands, the easier it is in the end to win that tournament.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's something we have to think about.
Okay, we actually have an email from Andy, and he was one that emailed in about Dead Man's Hand.
Andy's a man, by the way.
A man, I'm guessing.
You know, just for your scrapbook.
Because what was his name? Hickok. What was his first name?
Wild Bill Hickok.
Who apparently had 2 black aces and 2 black 8s.
Yes.
And we were trying to work out what the 5th card was, and we were asking everybody.
Right.
But Andy, who originally sent in the message asking, says, regarding the identity of the 5th card and all these different suggestions, I've read somewhere that Hickok actually was shot at the moment he was drawing 1 card, since he was playing 5-card draw, and therefore never received the 5th card.
Well that could lead to some of this confusion. So now we've got 5 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds, Queen of clubs, King of spades, and maybe didn't quite even get the card.
Yeah. So it's a true story then, is it?
I'm not certain about that one, because I think it's... Oh yeah, I suppose I could have turned his cards over afterwards, because it's unusual to be showing you what he had before you got the last card come. No, well, he might have had a full house. Did you have to look to see what he'd got? I'm not sure about that one, Andy. No, I don't. I'm not following that one. I don't like that one.
I don't think that one's true. Okay, well, we do have an email here from Will. He says, hi guys, just thought I'd tell you about a tourney I played in recently. I wasn't getting any cards and had to go all in 4 times with the rags. First time I hit trips, the other 3 times I hit quads and finished just outside the cash. He says, P.S. when is James... Started reading it, I'm going to have to finish. P.S. when is James heads up with Liz? Read into that what you will. Very lucky there for Will then. Wow, quads and trips.
Do you think Will recommends I go all in or not? I'm not sure, but...
Moving on, I think. We've got an email here from Stan. I think we've got enough time to do this. Hopefully we have before we go to the
Stan
break.
the man.
Stan the man. He says, hi folks, wondering if you could sort out an argument.
Yes.
In a cash game, you have queens. Queens.
Queens.
And you're first to act. Do you call or raise? My mate says you make more money checking, although it is 42%. He says 42% that an ace or a king comes on the flop. You have a 9% chance of hitting chips, giving your opponent only 33% of being ahead after the flop. You can then make your moves against any limpers, etc., assuming no aces or kings on the flop. Have to say he is blinding me with his argument and odds. Can you simplify it for me and give me your opinion? And I would like opinions on queens as well.
Queens, right, this is interesting. He's in early position with the queens. You can play it either way. If you just limp in with the queens, well then you have to be prepared just to be able to throw it away. In fact, with any hand that you limp in with, you must be prepared to throw it away. Every now and again, we'll be limping in with aces. If the flop's not right, if it's 3, 4, 5, all spades, someone bets, just chuck it away. This does not match a pair of aces. You don't know where you are, no guessing. Same with a pair of queens. So if you do limp in, 1, be prepared to say, I played it as a drawing hand, I'm happy to throw it away. Now, if you've got that in your head, well then it's safe to try it, playing a limping in version. However, it is the 3rd best hand you can get pre-flop in Hold'em. And generally, when we have a good hand, we want to play bigger pots, because why not? When you've got the really good hand, let's play for more money. That makes sense. So therefore, that would be the argument for raising pre-flop with the queens. And who knows, maybe the guy will call with his ace-king. Maybe you'll hit your queen and he'll hit his ace. Now you'll win a massive pot. That doesn't sound too shabby to me. Regarding the stuff about the percentages there, I'm not going to put it to pieces now, but it's not quite right what your friend was saying, because he wasn't quite taking into account. He was doing a simple minus of the hitting the trips and the ace-king, which wasn't quite right. But still, I think that's the nitty-gritty of it just there, and then we're running out of time.
Okay, well, we are going to a break now. We saw earlier how to play a tournament. James said it was very good. Why don't you join us after the break to see how not to play a sit-and-go tournament? We'll see you then. Welcome back to Poker Night Live, where we're going to watch my Beat the Presenter tournament.
What's
Do we
smile
have
about
to?
it? You might
I'm overjoyed.
you might have played really well and just got unlucky.
Right, well, we are going to watch a sitting tournament I was in. Are we going to go straight to it because it's really interesting and you're going to learn something?
And are you? Well,
Give up. Look, Ace King. Dead Spiders had 9s. Oh, I'm so pleased I can see what he had. I really wanted to know what he had.
Chip Nurse is Michelle, of course.
And there I am in seat
She's
1.
on the button with Ace
So
King.
I'm up to 80 and stupid Dead Spiders and stupid Big Raising.
4 times the big blind.
Which was great play by him, obviously, because I sat there and I didn't know what to do. I thought, I don't have a main hand here, but
What-
I have Ace King.
1, I think you probably put more in than you needed to do.
Yeah.
It's early stages. I don't see why you have to try and get it so big. Ace King isn't a
I thought 4 times the big blind was standard.
No, it doesn't have to be. I think 3 times the big blind would be fine. I mean, Ace
Yeah.
King isn't a made hand.
I should never have called
Now
this.
all of a sudden you're in a situation here. I don't think you have to call it even.
Do you know, I really, you can see
This
I'm
is
thinking.
quite a significant amount of money for
It's
you.
a quarter of my stack.
You're more likely to call it because you've put 80 in. It's easy to get away if you'd only
If
put
I put
60 in
60.
a way.
And then obviously he bet. I didn't have anything, and I thought he's raised it up. I put him on something like jacks or queens. To be
It was a
honest.
nice flop for Dead
Maybe even
Spiders, however.
kings.
He's got the overpair.
And
He
obviously I
doesn't
can't
believe
call.
you've got a 7, that's for sure.
I wish I just hadn't played it.
Um,
Hindsight is wonderful.
anyway, I'm sure you're going to pass this.
Yeah, he played it well, Dead Spiders.
Yes, he played it aggressively because he felt that you in late position maybe just did have 2
I
big
had to go at
cards.
him and ask him for my chips back. and he didn't.
Still,
give
anyway,
back.
listen. You had a nice hand, and I'm just thinking maybe in the early stages it was.
Put it down.
Well, I don't know. It just played a bit bigger. It's difficult. Listen, these are so tight now. It might be that it's not as bad as normal. If this was a little bit slower structure, I'd think it would be worse to get. I think you could actually even not get involved in it.
Because you know you've got a lot more
this
place
is
to come.
actually we're finding now that this is really quite a fast structure.
So you're thinking I've got to make the most of the hands when I get them.
Because of that, in a way, it can't be such a big mistake because we know that this does move along pretty quickly, basically.
Well, let me do have a quick
However,
look
I
round.
think I wouldn't have raised as much to
As
start
much,
with. I'd
maybe
have
just
said
60.
raise with less of a bet.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe you could have even put a raise even. Maybe you could have made it 50. Now see what
Yeah.
he does. Now maybe he just makes it 150. Now you could have a look with your ace king there now,
And not be as
and
huge
now
a
you're
problem.
not as wounded.
Okay.
Never mind. It's not. Listen, it's not horrific.
I think I limped here. I want to have a quick shout out to who I'm playing against. Robbo Squirrel, QPW, Dead Spiders, Gypsy Gal, I like that name, Will, 2574, Scotty, who's married to Fast Bandy, and Andio at the top.
Okay, we've got Michelle's limped with ace 10. That's okay. Pair of twos is a quite adventurous raise there. Called by Dead Spiders, and Michelle passed the ace 10, and I think that's correct. She doesn't want to be involved in a hand where someone's raised and someone's called the raise. And as we can see there, it's quite likely that one of the hands which she wouldn't like to be up against is going to be there, and it was ace queen, where her ace was dominated. Her 10 was dominated by the queen.
So only made hand is the 5 for Scotty.
Well, this adventurous play by Scotty. In fact, it looks like this table's playing a bit lively than normal. Made it up to 80.
See, I've started the 80 raise, you see, at the very beginning, set the precedent. It's going to be 80 people. They all fall asleep.
Right, and what a flop for Scotty there. Flopped the trips. Checked it. Leaving the door open for Dead Spiders, but Dead Spiders hasn't connected with the flop. Unfortunately for Scotty. However, Dead Spiders takes Scotty's check as weakness and pops in 160. Scotty just calls. Playing deceptively when he's got a strong hand. Good poker. Leaving the door open again for Dead Spiders, who is hoping that Scotty's only on a draw hand, but he doesn't bet again, however. Scotty pretty confident he's got the best hand now. Would have had doubts if a club had come.
Full house.
And he bets 100. Hopes his opponent's just got a bare 10. Doesn't fancy he's got 10-5, 10-4 or 10-8. Gypsy Gal on the button. Just limps. I think that's fine. Early stages. Just calls from Will. We're playing poker on the flop because Scotty's not going to raise. Ace Jack 6 and the limper Gypsy Gal with positions got second pair. Should get clues where the Gypsy Gal should get clues from having position because Will checks, Scotty checks, Gypsy Gal should ask a question here. Doesn't.
And gives Scotty another card and he hits his king.
Well, that was a weak play. If you're going to limp in there and you've had a check, there's no harm in actually just asking a question there. Could have popped in the 60, asked the proper question. If they wanted to come over the top, even if they would make a move, don't worry about it, pass. But it's likely you're just going to win it there and then. You've limped and you've hit, and at least follow up the play. If you're not capable of playing after that, then you shouldn't be limping. Keep it to hands where you know where you are. So if you didn't bet because you don't know where you are, don't play limpy hands because it's going to be negative expectation if you don't capitalise when you hit.
Ace Jack, limp with the 10 Jack. Ace 9 on the button. What would you do here with the Ace 9 on the button, James?
Again, early stages, I don't mind him limping in there. Or passing.
Now the raise in first position
Well,
with the Ace Jack.
Well, Scotty's got a few more chips.
So he can afford to.
So he actually can be more adventurous than other people because he has got a few more chips. So by getting off to a good start, this gives him the license to be a bit more experimental. And look at this. It was a dodgy call by Ace 9. I think it was incorrect call calling the raise. Dominated by the Ace Jack, but he's hit his kicker, the 9.
The only card he gives it.
Yeah, Ace Jack's making a continuation bet, thinking that's a safe flop for me. Can't imagine that Will's got any part of it. Well bet this time by Will. Re-raises 3 times the initial bet, makes it 240 and takes it down. Okay, so good betting by Will there.
King 10 on the big blind. I'm thinking, let's just have a few little limps all the way around to me so I get a free little flop there.
That's right, that's what you want. You're not going to be calling a raise with it.
No.
Gypsy Gal just limps. You think that looks promising?
Yep, I'm hoping for a couple more limps.
And Will, I doubt whether he's calling this.
So I'm going to think. No.
Scotty's going to do something with the 8. What's he going to do? He raises.
Oh, it's like that. Oh, can't call.
Done a big
Flop
raise
King
as well.
10.
It's been a big raise because there's more people in the pot. He doesn't really want to see it. I think he just wants to take it down, but he doesn't get that wish. And difficult now with a pair of 8s because you just don't quite know where you are. What did your opponent call that raise with? That flop's reasonably good though. He just hopes he doesn't have a 10. He bets. He's right to continue the bet. There's no point just leaving it not knowing where he is. And he finds out the favourable news that he's the winner of that pot and gets the chips. Michelle with rubbish cards there. Pass doesn't make up the small blind.
I mean, I did get people start, because obviously I've gone through the blinds again, so I'm on 680 now, I did get people start putting things like, Michelle, you're playing too tight, come on, start making a move. But it's so difficult because the game's quick, you don't realise, and the blinds creep up on you very quickly, and you think you've got more play than you actually have. And for Ace-5, for instance, really, I should be using this now, but still in my head, I'm thinking the tournament's only just started. I've got loads of time. I don't need to be playing. Oh, my on. Thanks for telling me. No, I don't need to be playing rag aces
Well,
just yet.
if we get back to that game there, just to see that Ace-5. Oh no, it's gone. We didn't know. You didn't call it anyway, did you?
No, I didn't call it.
I don't. I think it's too early for that anyway.
But that's what I'm thinking in my head. People are saying, "Oh, you're playing too tight. Start doing something," and I'm like, "Well."
You're only on the second level now. Okay, you've had a bit of. You see, you lost those chips early on, which is But if we look at your rounds going to cost you 60, you've still got a lot of rounds left anyway. And then if we look at how many big blinds you've got that style, you're still in good shape there. You're still not desperate. And let's put this more into perspective. If you got all your chips in and doubled up, you'd be second in the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Not wonderful, even then.
What, second place? So
you as good as first.
Well, no, you might be first because there might be some extra money in the pot. So just one pot might put you the chip leader.
Yeah, exactly.
So therefore, you can't be that bad a shape. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, yeah, but even this goes on for a while. Me not really doing anything, so I think that's.
Look at this. It's a full house for Will. Three kings and two aces. Board. But the dead spiders. I wonder if Dead Spiders has got his own website.
Why?
Dead Spiders.
Oh! It is a Sunday, James. I'm allowed to take a few minutes on these things. 9-6, get rid of it. Not interested. Take the little foldy box.
Queen King there just calls, that's okay. Let's see what happens. Oh, another Queen King. Robbo Squirrel passes his Queen King.
See, yeah, difference in play there. Robbo Squirrel's in better position, but doesn't want to get involved.
QP Wowie. And it's an unraised pot.
So he's Will.
So the King Queen. He's got every reason to believe his King Queen's good this time.
Mm-hmm.
And see how this tends to follow suit when it does work.
It does. You're right, James. You're not wrong.
Good. And now he's bet 80 into a pot of 100. And I think he was confident. He actually wanted his opponent to call, maybe. And he marches on to 1330.
Look at the aces.
Oh, yes. And what a lovely position on the button. Can make it look like a steal. Whoa! What on earth was that about? My goodness me.
What a time to bluff.
What a lovely situation for Dead Spiders. Dead Spiders should just go all in. You shouldn't actually just flat call. You should just go all in, really. Okay, no real difference. I don't know why I want someone else to possibly come in. And a 4 or 8 is needed for QP Wowie. It's not there.
And off he pops.
And, wow. Well, you're not 8th, Michelle.
No, not 8th.
QP decided to make a move, a bit premature, I think, for bad cards to have done that move. It's too early for that. There would be a stage of the tournament where I wouldn't mind it, but not at this stage. It's still a tad early. He had 704.
Maybe it's because he's on TV and he thinks, oh, take it.
It would be sensational to take it down with that. Yeah, maybe.
But that's exactly it. I mean, QP probably wouldn't do that if he was sitting at home in a normal tournament, but on the TV, maybe it does make a difference.
All right. Okay. Possibly. A reasonable surmising of the situation there by Michelle. He was going for TV glory.
TV glory. And you do think about it, even when I'm playing, I'm thinking, well, I'm on TV and I don't quite play my natural game.
He's watching now saying, why couldn't it be that flop?
Yeah. That would have been perfect for him, wouldn't it?
Cracked the aces. The chat box would have gone mad. Instant TV fame. Never mind, it wasn't to be.
Yeah, well, I have come 8th once, actually, when I was playing, and that was when I was all in with aces. And the Jack Queen called and got 2 pair on me. But with aces, you can't say that you haven't done the right thing if you end up all in, I don't think, pre-flop. Can you?
Pre-flop, you've done nothing wrong. I mean, aces pre-flop, certainly there's nothing wrong at all. After the flop, it could be wrong, but not pre-flop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is the problem with aces. Sometimes, especially if you've made a huge raise for a lot of you, and then the flop comes down, it is scary. It is like paired or there's or it's suited, and you're thinking, oh, now I could so easily be losing, but you're still thinking in your head, but I do have aces. It can get you into a lot of trouble. And it's the wrong way to think, isn't it?
Yeah.
You still have to treat it as one
pair.
pair.
I had kings yesterday. The guys done a raise ahead of me, and I've just gone all in pre-flop. and he had ace queen, I think, and hit the ace. But I mean, there's nothing wrong there pre-flop, because I actually didn't have my full complement of chips then anyway. It was a perfect situation just to get my chips in, and it was going to end up heads up very likely. So those times are fine. It's only when the play goes onto the flop and beyond that sometimes then it's a mistake, where people do not take careful enough consideration of what's on the flop or what betting or what the situation is. Then it can be a mistake.
See,
Chip Nurse has got a hand, ace queen.
No, this is where I make a mistake.
No, you have got a hand.
No, I know, but this is where I'm saying
well,
this is where I make a mistake.
Scotty there, ace 10, makes it 160.
I should have made a move here and I didn't.
Well, you've got to either pass or go all in.
Yeah.
There's no other play for you.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking actually, and I'll tell you why I did that. I was thinking, if I've got ace queen and I'm going to be risking I'm going to be pretty much all in, then I want to be the cooler.
Hang on.
I want to be the raiser.
Well, did you hear what I said? You've got to either pass or re-raise all in.
Oh, yeah, so that's what I was thinking.
There's no other, it's never about what you've got left. You're not going to have any left, because if you play, you're pushing it all in and you are the raiser.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, if I play this, I'm probably going to end up all in if I play this.
No, yes, you have to,
well,
yes.
Yeah, so I'm risking my whole tournament on an ace-queen when someone's already raised.
Right.
So my thinking, well, that's why I fold.
Right, but the thing is, you're 620, it's not too bad a spot to have a go at, actually, because you've already got the blinds in there and you've also got an opponent. As I said, I don't mind. I said you could either pass or re-raise all in. I didn't want to see you call.
Well, I thought
calling would have been horrific.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to call, but in hindsight, I thought I'd made a mistake by folding. I thought maybe I should have pushed.
Well, I think it was very borderline decision, and I think because I was low on chips there, I might have been tempted to try and push him off the hand or have to win it on merit.
Yeah. See, that's what I thought after I'd done it. I thought I folded it thinking, oh, this is going to be my whole tournament.
And he might well have respected you there and passed it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I thought I'd made a mistake.
That was a borderline one. I think that was a borderline decision. A very tough decision. I think for a start, it looked like you decided a bit too quickly, but...
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Well, some of the times you consider, that time it didn't look like you considered very much. Just because it passed too quickly.
Yeah, I think I passed it quite quickly.
Yeah, well, I definitely think it merited a good thought that because that was a critical...
Well, that's
when you're playing a tournament, every now and again a hand will come and you'll say beep, 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 which means this is a critical time in your tournament. You must say, oh my goodness, this is a really major situation. My tournament is probably hinging on how I play this hand. And I think you're good enough to realise that was a pretty... Considering you got off to a poorish start, you're down to 620. I think you had to consider that as a really critical. So one...
And again, this is what I was saying to you earlier about it happening, or me not giving enough it all happening very quickly.
Just one sec. We'll just see there's a raise there from Dead Spiders. Because he's got more chips, I'm going to just stress this, he's able to start making a few more plays. Yeah. Because he's got more chips. When you've got less chips, you can't be as adventurous for some of these. So that was just to highlight that to you.
Again, here I bottled it.
Well, no, you've got... Oh, I see. Right. You have a chance...
Just checked it.
Yeah, you have a chance. You could have just pushed in. He's just made up the small blind. You could have just pushed.
And do you remember I was telling you that story earlier? I had the sixes in the multi-table tournament.
And he's checked. Anyway, let's see how this is played. He's checked to you, and you've checked again. So he's trying to trap you because he had the second pair, or maybe he doesn't know where he is. He's now got the third pair, but he's also got the straight draw. He checks again. Well, you obviously there's 3 over cards.
I'd already decided I wasn't going to take a risk with my
80,
sixes.
and you pass. Good pass.
I decided the very flop, when I decided not to bet on the flop, I thought that means I'm now not betting till the end.
Okay, that's fine. Once you're in there without a raise, that's fine. Because he made up the small blind, it's often, just when people check, more times than not, it's through weakness.
Yeah.
When people make up the small blind, more times than not, it's through weakness.
It's through weakness. That's why I said raise.
So therefore, you could have asked the question, there's a very good chance that he'd have just passed.
But I bottled it.
Okay. But sometimes I was on the cruise, someone just made up the small blind, we'd had a few battles, and he did it with strength. He had a pair of aces, so he caught me that time. So it can happen. the other way. But I'm saying more times than not, just making up the small blind is through weakness.
Yeah, I mean, it's two weak things I've done now. I should have pushed in with the ace queen, I should have pushed in with the sixes, and neither time I did. I mean, as it turns out, both times I probably would have lost, but it's not the point. The point is that I didn't do it.
Hang on. What do you mean both times you'd probably have lost? Do you think
Because I would have lost that if he
Why?
called.
Is he going to call with Jack 10?
No, probably not.
So you'd have won it. So you wouldn't have lost that. You'd have won a pot. You would have won a pot. You'd have lost.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Right. And the other one is you had ace queen against his ace 10 anyway. So you were a 73% fake.
Well, exactly. Do you know what I mean? There's two stupid times when I haven't done anything.
Anyway, listen.
And it's because you're there.
And that's because I'm there.
bad.
Oh, right. Will's just called. Scotty's just called with a pair of sixes.
I thought about making a move
What
with
did
the
you
ace
have?
four,
Eh?
ace four, and I thought about making a move.
Definitely
and I
not.
didn't.
Definitely not. Too many people in there, and you haven't got enough chips. This is important. This one. Look, you had a call. You did not have enough chips to be certain to get
Well, I think that's why I
have any
folded,
fold
to be honest,
equity.
James.
Someone there's likely to call you, and you don't want it with ace
Yeah,
four.
that's
So that was
what
a
I
great
thought.
pass. Okay, no problem there.
I,
No problem. There's too many people there. Remember that. You can't do it against. The more people you're trying to battle against, the harder it is to get them to pass.
The thing is what I was about to say earlier as well, was when you think about making moves, like with the ace queen, I wanted to make a move. With the sixes, I'm thinking of making a move. Both times, I'm thinking, this is going to be my whole tournament life on this hand. And I haven't done it because I think I've got a lot more play than I actually have, because I'm not used to the quick tournaments. And you really have to be able to adapt, which I haven't done.
Right.
I'm sure I will do much better next time when I'm realising that I need to adapt to the quicker play.
Right. And we've got Gypsy Gal ace queen against king queen. There's that king queen, not faring well in the raised pot. Right, chip
3-7,
nurse,
I've
load of
decided
garbage,
to fold it.
3-7. Robbo, what's he going to do with his ace jack? Makes it 240, 3 times the big blind. Gypsy Gal, 69.
Now he's done that with 560 left, is that correct this time?
Yes, he's got to start doing something. He's only got 800. There's 120 each round cost. He's quite happy to... I think he's probably prepared to put the rest of his chips in as well. 6 queen, that's pretty garbage under the gun. I don't blame you not doing anything there.
It's really horrible watching yourself back, especially when you haven't done the right thing.
Right, what do you get here? Oh, pair of threes. This will be interesting. Let's
I
see
never
what
play
happens here.
threes ever. I'm scarred from my
Never
tournament.
mind about never play them. Right, what happens here?
You folded
you
three,
win
I
it.
didn't even have to
Oh,
worry.
right, okay.
I was thinking, am I going to go all in with threes even though I'm scarred?
If he just made up a small blind, you should definitely have pushed in that situation. Michelle? If the small blind, when you had the threes, it only made up... Oh, ace-5 here.
I went all in.
Oh, well, you've found a situation where your favourite, you against the guy who'd limped.
No, he was on the big blind.
Oh, big blind. Okay, good. Sorry, beg your pardon. That's better still. I was going to say that's fine then. I was worried because I'd lost track there. Oh, against the big... great. Good play. What I was saying was, in the pair of threes, if they'd only made up the small blind that last time, you'd have had push with a pair of threes as well that time before, because now you're definitely getting down to where there's not much play.
Yeah,
so that
I
was
don't know.
definitely been a play.
I
that
don't
was
know
great.
what I would have done because I was waiting to see what he did, so I didn't even think about what I would have
Right,
done.
but I'm just telling you now that that stage in your tournament, that would have been
if
clearly...
he just made it up,
yeah,
definitely
it would have
all
been
in.
clearly you pushed with your threes
'Cause
that
you've got
previous
pair.
time. Yeah, because the chips were low enough, you didn't have that much play, and it was likely that you were winning,
Time to do it with
and
the
you
main
might still
hand.
pass.
Okay.
And that was good play there with your ace-5 there. You picked up on a good time. That was great. Okay, queen 7 is attacking, but is just been called by Gypsy Gal with the 10s. Now what's Dead Spider's going to do? No help on that flop. Made it 320. Very chirpy play. Oh, Gypsy Gal just calling. So it looks like Gypsy Gal knows for sure that he or she is
Ooh,
winning.
no, they're both
Oh,
worried
and
about
check.
that.
All right,
Them spades.
there we go. So Gypsy Gal wins that one. Strange, just betting patterns there.
Well, let's have a little look at the board, shall we, and see who might get into problems here.
Chip Nurse here has found the hand at last.
All in.
Nothing wrong there. We can see that you've walked in.
And then, look, Will says to me in the chat box, I've got the aces, but I'm going to lay them down, and Scotty puts in liar.
Very
and
unlucky
like,
here.
Brilliant.
Very unlucky
Really
here.
pleased
Nothing
about
wrong.
that.
You've only got 700 chips. Each round's going to cost you 240. It's a dream hand to find. You've got the third best hand before the flop in No Limit Hold'em. Unfortunately, you've run into the best hand in No Limit Hold'em, which is pair of aces.
And then I called Scotty a git. A lucky one.
So then
I didn't
Michelle
mean it,
got
Scotty.
a code violation for bad language.
So I've got the hump now.
Oh, well, you did nothing wrong. Generally, you were... Okay, we found a couple of...
Right, let's look at those two very quickly again. The ace-queen, I'm raised into.
No, I think the trouble started with the ace-king.
Let's go back to where the trouble all began.
Well, possibly. I just think that all of a sudden... Let's have a look. To me, you got rid of 320 chips with your
Too
ace-king.
much.
You put 80 in with your pre-flop raise, and now you've called a bet. A raise.
Yeah.
240, I think it was.
It was it was about 240.
Or was it 240 in total? Okay, maybe.
No, it was because I'd put the 80 and then he raised it by about 240.
Oh, did he? Right. Anyway, so
Or
you-
220, I can't remember.
Right.
It
Okay.
was
So
in the
he's now
220.
raised. Well, you got away from it then, but unfortunately now you're sort of not in the area where you've got any fold equity, nothing. You're actually just on the end where you're a caller. It's quite likely he's got a made hand, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I was kind of.
Okay,
yeah.
so you're desperately now wanting to hit an ace, or a king. But now you're 2-1 against hitting an ace or a king. So all of a sudden you've committed a lot of chips in the early stages of a sit and go where you're 2-1 against to hit the flop, and it still mightn't be good enough.
Would have raising been better there or not? Because it was a big raise anyway.
I just think that's too desperate, possibly for early
It's too
stages.
early.
But the ace king does what there is that. That's a great question, actually, Michelle. So I like that thinking. So that I'm going to give you full marks for that question. No, because that's brilliant. Because you're looking, you're searching, and that's great. That's how we're going to improve. Yes, rather than calling his raise, you could now have re-raised all in
And really just gone for it.
and gone for it there and asked him the question. Well, he wouldn't have liked that, because he
No.
really would have thought he'd walked into a big pair, and I think he probably has to put it down.
What did he add?
Pair of nines.
Nines, that's it.
I think he has to put it down. Now, it's hard to tell. It's a sit and go. I don't know how seriously he's taking it. It's a hard question. If it was a major tournament, if it was a big tournament, and I did that to you with nines, and you came back over the top of me, in a big tournament, I'd be putting it down. I can't call it. But in a sit and go, possibly people say, okay, there's always another sit and go around the corner, maybe.
Yeah.
So they can be a bit braver than normal. But that would be definitely an alternative play. I'm just not certain if we want to be involving so many chips early on, because we see how fast it is. We need to seem to have as many chips as possible, really.
Yeah.
So that's a question mark on that. So,
Okay.
then after that, because of that, you didn't really recover from that for a while. You were lolling
No.
around the 600 mark for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, the ace queen. Let's talk about that because
Yes, you had
I'm raised into.
620. Someone we know is ace 10, but we forget about that because we don't know what
'cause
he's
we
got.
don't know.
The ace 10 has
Has
made a
raised.
raise, and he's made it
I think it was
160. So he's gone 80 with 80. Not the strongest of raises. Don't think you have to think he has a massive hand necessarily. You've got ace queen. You've only got 620 left. Might he pass this person when you re-raise? It's
I
going to
don't know.
cost him 460 more. Can he pass? What do you think? Is it possible someone could pass if they didn't have
It
much
is
of a...
possible, yeah.
Right. So no, that's a question you must ask yourself. So you think it's possible. We don't know what he's got, but are there some hands he could pass for 460?
Yeah, considering it was only. Do you know what? I hadn't even looked at how
He's
much
not
it
that
raised it
chipped
by.
up, or whatever. Right. So now because he's got, it's possible for him. That means that you have some fold equity because it's possible for him to pass.
So
Now that is the key part of this, because that's wonderful if there's some fold
can
equity.
you make him put it down?
Now, the next thing is your ace-queen isn't too shabby a hand anyway in an 8-seater sit and go. So you might be lucky enough that he's got ace-jack. He could have the same hand as you. He might have a pair where it's your small underdog. But if there's this possible you can get him to put certain hands down, he might have king-queen, and you've got him lovely, you're a lovely position there. There's a few things. So therefore, I think that probably was the window of opportunity. Because you'd been wounded, you now needed to do something, re-raise.
I thought, as soon as I'd done it as well, I thought, I could have easily pushed there.
And I think that would have been a nice play. Yeah. And I'm not just saying that because I know he had ace-10. I would still be talking the same way if I knew he had ace-king. It doesn't matter to me that. I'm just saying 80 with 80.
And it felt like that as well. As soon as I'd done it, I thought, you were out there, Michelle. You could have made a move there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that one.
Do you know what my thinking in that, though, was he's raised into me, do I want to risk my whole tournament on ace-queen? And I said no, and I don't know why, because it's like you say, it's a decent enough hand in an 8-seater.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're going back to our barometer of how we're doing. Well, the thing is, you weren't doing great because you only had 620 left. So in a way, what does that mean? Does this mean, it means you have to perhaps take a risk to get Bridie back into the hunt?
Yeah.
This looked like, but what, right, just to recap, what's the key question you ask yourself?
Can I make him fold?
Yes.
Have I got fold equity?
Is there any chance? Have I got any fold equity? It mightn't be massive, but say, have I got any fold equity here? And if you have, then that's probably enough to force you into doing the move. Does that help?
Yep, and then the last one was the 6s.
Let's just check this because we are getting to the latter stages here. We've had Scotty.
See, all in with 6s. Why can't I have been that aggressive with my 6s? What's wrong
look at
with
this.
me?
Gypsy Gal's there with 4-5.
Wow.
What on earth's going on? It's all over.
Wow.
There we go. Oh my goodness! It's a split pot. Kings and 9s with an 8.
Wow.
Look at that. The king came on. What an escape for Gypsy Gal.
Gypsy.
It's your best 5 cards. The extra pair on the flop negated the pair of 6s, counterfeited the pair of 6s, so therefore it was a split pot because neither of them had a higher card than an 8 in the hand. What an amazing hand.
What a get out for Gypsy Gal.
Yeah, big escape. Gypsy Houdini Gal. Big escape. Your next one was your pair of 6s? Did you say?
I can't remember what happened now though. The 6s, I had 6s on the big blind.
Yes, you had 6s in the big blind.
And
he had just made up the small blind.
About this, actually,
yeah, and you had about 500 at that time now. You were down to about 500.
I should have pushed in there.
I think you just pushed because you could do with that extra 160.
Yeah, big styly.
Because that 160 is on top of 500. It's massive, isn't it? Turns your 500 into 660. That's very significant to you.
So yeah, definitely.
So there was an opportunity to say, okay, and right,
all of those
what
points
was it now? So what was the question you should have asked yourself?
Do I have fold equity?
Right, and in the situation where your opponent has just made up the small blind, do you think you have fold equity?
Yeah.
How much?
Quite a lot.
That's it. More than the other case, because that was a razor. So, quite a lot. Exactly. And is 500 enough to put people off?
Definitely.
Definitely.
You know, it really changes the way I look at things. And do you know what? I knew all 3 times, and before, the times before when I was playing, I was being so much more aggressive, and it was working for me. And all of a sudden, I've become a little bit more passive. I think it's because I've been playing a lot of longer tournaments. So in my head, I'm thinking I've got a lot more time than I have.
And that's it, because different tournaments, different speeds, and that's...
And I've got to be able to adapt. I can't just play in the same games all the time.
Okay, Will just passes there. We've got the Gypsy Gal under pressure here, 5 queen. Oh dear, and it's up against a pair of queens. And, oh my God, found a way to get away from it, which is amazing, because only had 790 left. I'd have found it hard to pass.
Being on the big blind, unfortunately, then only given a 3-7.
3-7, but I'll tell you what, the chips have to go in now. That's quite correct. Has no option here. Oh, well, Will's has got a call anyway. And look at that. Pretty good. Hits the top pair. But of course there is an escape. A 9 would give Gypsy Gal a straight. It's not there. Gets a miserable pair of 3s on the end, which is not good enough to fight a pair of jacks. And Gypsy Gal goes out in 3rd place. We've got the heads-up battle now between Andy, ace-7, seen an ace, whacked it all in, asked the big question, got a pleasant answer, got the blinds. And now the blinds have gone up to 640, 1280. Certainly it's action-packed now. And I think this is it. It's pair of sixes against 8-9. Pair of sixes out in front. Up and down straight, so he needs a 7, a queen. Oh, queen on the river. It's a straight. It's 8, 9, 10, jack, queen.
Wow.
Wow, what a card for Wills. And Andy's cursing his luck there. I got him to the river. How can he hit it? 5, 7, 8. Andy's all-in-ski. And he's winning this so far just with the 10. And yes, he's done it. It's a pair of sevens with queen, 10, 8 is his 5-card poker hand. Well, life in this one still. But this is a close encounter. Oh, and look at that. What a result. He got that down with 6-4. He'd be singing and dancing in his seat.
King
and I think he's going to whack it in here. He should do. King 5. This is a good heads-up hand. It's a king. High cards rule in heads-up. And a king is one of the ruling cards. Look at that. He's got a flush. And that king is nicely out in front. And he just seals victory with a heart. Sealed it with a kiss. And it was a flush. Back in front, the lead has changed again. And it's Will. Horrible looking 10-2.
Another free ride.
And Andy there.
7-8 off suit.
7-8. Well, he just decided he's not going to pass for this, whatever. And it's 10 for Will, which is connected. Look at that, though. 7-8. Oh, no. It's jacks and 10s. So Will back in business. Horrible looking hand for Will, but these blinds are so big. Is he going to try and push? No, he didn't. Well, he'll be pushing now with a pair of sixes, and I don't think the aces... Yes, the aces are pushed ahead of him. The sixes are in there. It's a battle. But, oh, it was good shape for the sixes, but 2 pair. But a 6 will... Oh, it's a full house, but the 6 will still do it. The 6 will still do it because that would be a higher full house. 3 sixes. It's not to be. It's a full house for Andy. 3 2s, 2 aces, and Andy was the winner. Another exciting heads-up in the battle of the sit and go. The lead changed hands a few times. Michelle's still thinking about sit and go. But do you feel any clearer in your head?
Yeah, I know what mistakes I make though. It's just a stupid thing. I do things and I look back and think, well, I know I should have done that there.
Well, do you think the little ritual I'm telling you to do is going to help?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Sometimes I get carried away in the chat box. I don't concentrate.
Right, but do you think this little ritual of asking yourself this question?
Yeah, definitely.
Is that going to help?
Definitely, yeah. It's something you really should do.
Right.
And you're given the time to do it as well. And so many times you just make your decision and you've got the time, why not use it and sit there and go, right, okay, this has happened, he did that, I've got this, let's have a look at it. And if you did it more, you would find yourself progressing a lot more and winning a lot more.
Yeah. And lastly, do you think that a sausage roll was the wrong type of snack to be having?
I had no choice. I was at the garage and I needed to get something and that's all they had. Obviously, usually it would be a ciabatta or a banana or something. Not buttons, which I'm going to be having in a minute. Okay, we've got an email here from Snakey, Miss Snakey. She says, don't read until after Shell's tawny, so now I've done it.
We've waited.
She says, hi guys, just confirming that I am a lovely lady.
Oh, good.
Good. Out on the bubble again with the best hand.
I know, I remember that.
Pocket aces. Oh. Cracked 3 times tonight. I think I should go to bed. Obviously, not my night. Bad luck all day. Aww. And she says, by the way, that on the front of my name is the hissing noise that snakes make, so it's
all right. Yes, that's how I do say it. It's snaky. Snaky.
And we also have, so thanks, Snakey, anyway. It was lovely to see you on tables again.
Went out with a pair of 9s, if I remember rightly. Got outdone.
We also have Mrs. Bandit. Email from Fast Bandit. She says, again, don't read until after Shell's party. It wasn't so much of a party there, was it? She says, hi guys, yes, Scotty and I are married. Because Scotty I was playing, he was on the table. Yeah. And have been since long before we started playing poker. But we never play on the same table or multi-table tournament because of collusion rules. As you know, we have profiles visible to all players, so we know that Snakey is female and she's a regular on the $10 table. It tends to be a group of regular players on there and we have a good laugh most nights. And James, I'm not a know-it-all. Flirty Liz was in the chat during Michelle's game and said hi to you. And she was trying to get on the TV cash tables. I realised Michelle was concentrating and missed that as Scotty was in the middle of taking some of her tips at the time.
Ooh.
Yeah, bring it on, Scotty, for next time I play, and we'll turn the tables.
Thanks,
so yeah,
Mrs.
thank
Bandit.
you for both of those. They're lovely. They're fellow ladies. We should have a ladies' tournament again, and maybe on the sort one out.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Girls are us and all that. Get rid of the men. Which is fair enough, because you have your male tournaments.
Oh yeah.
Your poker expert tournaments. That us ladies aren't allowed in.
Yeah, we're getting a sore subject here.
Right, well, after all that excitement, it's time for a cash game. So what did you think, James, of the tourney?
Listen, I thought you made a good move with the ace-5. I actually think, hopefully, you're going
Look, James, it's Flirty Liz. It's your lady.
with Queen King. She's raising with Queen King. What's...
Hasn't she listened to me?
No, hang on, but I'll tell you what, Flirty Liz, it is an unraised pot, and she's on the button, so it's very smart thinking there.
She's copying you. She knows, she's listened, she's heard. She takes it in.
Yes, that was fine. That was the exception of the rule, and well done, Flirty.
Yes,
it was unraised until there, and on the button, then you popped it in there.
Double A Browning.
JB. Where's that? Oh, the Browning 007 that is on here.
Shouldn't you double A Browning?
Oh, right. Queen King's raised
and
up.
And Flirty Liz can be your Browning girl.
All right.
Because Bond gets a girl.
She could be Moneypenny. Isn't it?
Yeah. Miss Moneypenny. The worst accent. Come on, you do it.
I don't do Bond really.
Oh, come on.
Miss Moneypenny. It's all right, isn't it?
Connery.
It was a bit like.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love your impression.
James Bond.
James Bond.
Miss Moneypenny.
Right.
Right.
So this is a cash game then. So the blinds aren't going up. In a cash game, should you be playing the odds a lot more?
Definitely. It's odds based. You should have more than one life because should have some more money in your little account there. So if you lose the money, you can just bring out some more money.
Oh, can I just say, I had this email earlier from DJ Recess and I forgot to do it. And he says, I played poker with the deck of tarot cards. I got a full house and 4 people died. That was on my poker calendar this weekend by Stephen Wright.
I thought it was quite funny.
I have heard it before.
Oh, had you? I hadn't heard that one. Cute.
Okay, so thinking about odds a bit more on these cash games. Can you try and explain odds to us just a little clearer for those that are still completely confused?
I'll tell you what, we'll try and find a situation here.
Okay.
That's a nice hand for Snap It there. He's got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's hit the...
Sir Ken.
Sir Ken. Okay, Aunt Sally's just joined the game. That's why her blind is in there to start with, basically the 50. And still has an option to raise when it comes to her. So Aunt Sally could raise now if wanted to, and does so. Makes it 450. 7-5, don't think Tragic will play with that. Shaky Shark, King 3, a motley looking hand. Pair of 4s for Elvis. Decides to call. Looking for the 7-1 shot of hitting his 4 there, hoping to win a big pot. But now he tries to... Oh dear, I worry about this, just desperately... I suppose he didn't have so much money left, that was a problem, and so he's just paid Aunt Sally off. I'll tell you what was wrong there. Aunt Sally didn't have much money left, and pair of 4s called a pre-flop raise. Now, what are you doing when you're calling with a pair of 4s? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm assuming you're hoping to hit your 4 and get your trips.
Right. And what do you hope to do? If you get trips, what do you expect to do?
You expect to try and take as much money off your opponent as possible.
Do you expect to win quite a good pot with a pair of trips, 4s?
Well, yeah,
right.
as long as there's no straight draws and flush draws on there.
You've got a good chance to win a good-sized pot. He has called a pair of fours with a raise with a pair of fours against an opponent
that doesn't have the money. He's got no implied odds.
He's got no implied odds because the opponent didn't have any money. And in the end, what was worse than that, his opponent had so little money that Elvis thought he might as well chuck his money in anyway and just paid him off. How bad is that?
Not good.
Not
and
good
plus,
at all.
even hoping to hit his 4. I mean, I don't know what the odds
No,
of that
if
are.
the guy, it doesn't matter, 7 to 1 to hit it on the
7 to
flop.
1, is it?
But no, if
but even if he does, he's not going to get paid. So.
That's the problem. If his opponent has got chips and he's got chips,
fair enough.
Different story, because he's got a good chance to capture all the chips if things go right.
Okay, that's a good point you've made just there as well. It's not just thinking about how many chips they've got, it's also how many chips you've got.
Of course.
Because that's all you can win off.
Exactly, and this gives you bearing on whether you can make the play or not. So therefore, if he was chipped up and his opponent was chipped up, yes, he could call a pre-flop raise with the 4s and say, if I hit my 4, I'm playing. If I don't, I'm throwing it away. But if I hit my 4, and maybe you've raised with an ace and hit your ace, I might get all your chips, pal.
And that's a great way of getting implied odds into the conversation as well.
But when your opponent hasn't got chips, half of the material for this plan is not there. It has now become a terrible bet. A terrible call by the pair of 4s because of the situation.
Now, using that exact what we've just spoken about, if you're not getting odds to call a bet,
yes,
but if you think if you hit that bet, your implied odds are huge, does that then make it correct to call the bet even if you're not getting odds to?
Yes, because supposing, how that works is, supposing you are getting paid 3 to 1 to call this bet.
Right, yeah.
But really, you were 4 to 1 against.
Yeah.
So now in your mind you say, well, if I did hit my hand, let's say you get paid $30.
Yeah.
But really you're 4 to 1 against, so you should be getting $40 to even break level.
Yeah.
So now you say, if I hit my hand, if I was to bet $20, would they pay me? If you think the answer is yes, that means you're actually getting paid $50 because it's the 30 plus the 20. Because you're only 4 to 1 against, you'd be in the land of profit.
Yeah.
But
so
if you said, I think it's only 50-50 that they would call my bet, well then that $20 now only becomes $10. So now it's 30 plus 10. You're not even
40.
making any profit, you're just a break level.
Just breaking even.
And if you break even, and you might be wrong because they might never call your bet, you're probably best not being in there because your implied odds doesn't look to be enough. How does that sound?
Definitely.
Do you like the way is that simple?
That's very clear actually how you've explained that, because we obviously talk about a lot, so saying as long as you always work by your odds, as long as you make the right decisions, in the long run you'll be in the profit. But you have to take into account sometimes it is the correct, like you say, it is correct to call when you're not getting odds. If you're implied odds, then make those odds correct.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's very difficult to make those decisions, especially if you're in the early stages of your learning process. You've only been playing a couple of months. You've got so much to think about it as it is.
But what you've got to do is watch Poker Night Live and listen intently, and it all becomes easy.
It all becomes clear.
Yeah. Flirty Liz puts down a pair of 9s there.
I suppose it depends how clear your hand is to your opponent as well. If it's a flush, it's easier for them to see. They might not pay you off.
Tragic Tread's got trip 3s.
Nice.
But unfortunately for him, it's not the perfect situation because Elvis doesn't have a hand. If he makes his hand, of course, it's likely to be beating the trip 3s. So it's not that. But however, Elvis is keen to whack more money in the pot. So
would Elvis have been better checking there, trying to get a free card, or?
Well, yes, he could. He should have done. Yes, he should have done, because now he's been frightened off the hand, and he could have made the flush. Now he's not correct for him to call. He's not getting enough odds to call. It's the wrong odds to call. Here's a good example. If we can keep this, can we keep this? Freeze this one.
Too late, I'm afraid, James.
Too late.
Too late.
Unlucky. Anyway, that was a good one, because in the end there, he's actually bet, trying to be a little bit clever. He's now been re-raised, and his opponent made it another $24. There was not enough money in the pot to make it the correct odds to call. He was more than 4 to 1 against a call. He was getting way below 4 to 1 odds. In the end, he was correct to pass. He was wrong to bet because he actually jeopardizes chances of having a free draw for a flush. He might have hit the spade and won.
So take your free card when you can get it.
In that case, yes.
And then if you hit your flush, you might not get paid off because they can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're heading off to a break now. Thank you very much, James, for your commentary so far.
Good.
But we will return for some more after this short break. So. Good morning. Welcome back to Poker Night Live with James Browning as our expert commentator for the evening. We're feeling we need to boost people up because it's 1 o'clock in the morning,
Definitely.
aren't we, James? So all of you that are just about to
Nod off,
don't, because we're back.
We've got plenty more power-packed poker action.
Do you know what we have got, James?
No.
We've got the final table of our multi-table
Oh,
tournament.
brilliant. I love it.
Right, so that's where we're going right now. So this is exciting stuff. Don't
Green,
drop
green,
off.
green. There it is. Okay, here we are at the multi-table tournament. How many players have we got left? Any idea?
I don't know. Let me find out. No, this is the final table.
Brilliant.
So we've got Gullo, we've got Martinique, Greg, Marilyn, Panego, Groucham, Mild Joe, and Lee. 1968. So I'm guessing he's
Okay, the average...
38.
Which one?
38.
Oh, he's checking his age
That's to
out.
work out there. I reckon Lee is 38.
Okay, that's... Michelle's filly. It could have been the year that he won the lottery or something.
It could be. It's just a guess on my part.
Average chips now is about 21,200.
Right, so we started off with about...
169,500.
And how many players did we start off with?
With 113.
Wow. And we're down to 8.
Yes.
That's a lot of work.
Yep. And can you give us any clues about the prize money?
Yes, I can.
Good.
I think
She's got all the
it's
info
top,
there.
I've got
She's good.
all the info, James. Don't you worry about it.
Right,
Top 10 will get paid.
Okay. We've lost 2 players. What did they get? The 10th and 9th? Did they get
10th got $16.
Yeah.
And not well, $16.95, and 9th got $34.
Okay. 17 and 34 they got basically, wasn't
Yeah.
it? So next one out gets $45.
Now, bear in mind the winner gets $339.
Yes.
There's a lot to play for on this table.
It certainly is. Plus the pride of winning a TV multi-table tournament.
It says here that 4th gets $4,107, but I'm going to guess that's a typo. Because that wouldn't be fair.
It would alter the tactics, wouldn't it?
It would. Everyone tries to go out. Actually,
Everyone
that'd
tries
be
to go
quite
out
interesting. You've got to try and go out 4th. That would be interesting. No, it's like Raz and high-low Omaha, where you have to have the worst hand. I still can't get my head
Raz you
over
got
it.
the worst hand. High-low Omaha.
It's
you
big,
got,
worst hand or best hand, isn't it?
yeah, it's both. So if it qualifies for a low hand, then it's the best hand and the low hand. And if it doesn't qualify, then it's only the best hand which counts.
Wow. Omaha is coming, I think, to PNL at some point.
Ooh.
And do remember the Shelby has got private league going on for all Poker Night Live fans. So Shelby, well done to you. She's put that together, or he's put that together, she I assume. Yeah, we're going to hopefully be showing the first one on Monday.
That sounds good.
So if you do want to know more information about that, remember to go to the forums, and that's pokernightlive.co.uk.
Right.
So what tactics are we looking at on the final table? Are we changing gear, or...?
Basically, it's the same thing. We're just seeing where we are as an individual with how many chips we have in relation to the blinds. How much time have we got will dictate what speed we have to play. So we know that the average chips here is about 21,000. Just over 21,000, and we know that each round now is costing us 2,400. That's our other guideline. So obviously people like Martinique, who's on 10,000, he's definitely under pressure to do something. Groucho Marx is massive pressure, he's only got 4,000. Now for me, Groucho Marx has actually let himself get a little bit too low because he's actually lost out on his fold equity.
There's the text number, 84222. Or you could say 84222. Or you could say 84222.
All right. Or you could say 84222.
You could do, but then people might put in 20022, so that might confuse them.
Why would they do that?
Because they just might get a bit confused with their numbers.
Groucho Marx, okay, he's pushed in there now. As I said, I worry that he's let himself get too low and he's going to get caught. Well, he's walked into our hand. If Gullo had any doubts, it was helped by the fact that Groucho didn't have enough chips.
Mm-hmm.
And so Groucho goes out in 8th place. Now the one struggling is Martinique, and we look there at the chip situation, got 7,800. Ooh, and had an opportunity there, should have considered something possibly, but was put off by the raised by Panago. Right, and this is a correct move here. With the Queen King, this is a different scenario, was low in chips, had 10,000, it doesn't matter about raised pots or unraised pots, was correct to go all in.
So 7 left. Who will it be? We can see that Marl Joe is doing the best here with 650,000. Marilyn making a stand here, 12,000 in with an ace-10 suited and takes it down. So well done to Marilyn. Very interesting to see how these players play and what strategies they take up at the last stage of the multi-table tournament. They've been playing in all night.
They have. They've been playing for. Well, certainly about 10 o'clock, I think, the start of this one. So.
So well ahead for Marl Joe here. He doesn't need to worry for a while, does he? Just plays solid hands.
Right, who's in critical situation, Michelle? Tell me.
Critical, we're looking at Martinique.
Yeah.
Martinique.
Oh, not a hand he's very happy with on the big blind, is it? 2-4.
No. He's hoping everyone will fold him, but it's not going to happen.
No. And we've had a raise from King 8, and Ace King's going to re-raise, asking the question, asking Panago to put his tournament on the line, which he doesn't want to do, had fold equity.
Fold equity is what we were talking about
And
earlier.
we know about that, don't we, Michelle?
We know all about fold equity tonight.
Is this implanted in your mind now?
Yes, it is.
You're going to be having dreams about fold equity. Does he have fold equity? Does he have fold equity?
Oh, I hope that's not what.
You hope that's not what's in your dreams?
What's going to be in my dreams tonight? I don't want it to take over from my Brad Pitt Fight Club dream that I tend to have before I go to sleep.
Which one? Your Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt Fight Club
dream
that I tend to have. Quite simple. I end up getting into a fight with Brad Pitt and then it all turns nice.
Oh, that's a good dream. Don't want to referee, do you?
What dreams do you have? Poker dreams? Why don't you text us? 84222.
10 Jack 2, Marilyn.
Oh, I know who you'll be having dreams about tonight, James. We've had a little email from your little admirer.
Have I?
Yeah, Flirty Liz has been in contact.
No, I think you're just joking.
I'm not, it's here. Shall we do the email quickly?
You're just joking. Yeah, I don't believe you.
Look, let me read. Come on, I'm doing an email. This is from Flirty Liz, who loves James.
It really is, I can see it.
He says, well, she has actually got a question as well, which is good.
Then.
She says, RE, King, Queen rules in the land of the unraised pot, you're saying.
Okay.
It's what you always say, James. You're the expert. However, I really don't know what you mean by this slogan. Did you mean that it's correct to raise with it in an unraised pot, especially on the button? I decided that's probably what you meant, and I think I took down the blinds with it. So hopefully this is how you think it should be played. Sorry, too tired to flirt tonight. Have some kisses instead. Which blatantly is still flirting, Flirty Liz. She can't help herself. That's from Flirty
Is that from Liz?
Liz.
How many?
4.
2 more then.
Live TV, this is gold.
I shouldn't have given those salty sour bins, it spoiled the kisses.
That's on Flirty Liz.
Thank you very much,
Give her a
Liz.
kiss. Lovely. Back to the game.
Right, no, King, Queen. Unraised pot. Yeah, you adapted that well.
You're gonna get married.
Basically, a lot of times there, I would advise you perhaps just even limping in with King, Queen. In this situation, you translated it perfectly because there'd been no raise, people had been limping in, so it did become an unraised pot. You had position, the best position of all, which is on the button, or of course next to me. No, the best bit is on the button, so therefore you saw that nobody had raised, and you raised, and you saw the window of opportunity and took it.
You love
and you were rewarded by everybody passing. So well done.
You're gonna marry her. Have you seen that film? Brilliant. Sandra Bullock is great. Miss Congeniality. Brilliant.
Oh yeah, it was funny.
Well, enough of that from Flirty Liz. You give him a big head. He won't be able to get out the door. Back to poker. Poker. Concentrate on the poker, James.
Yes, I'm concentrating.
Kings. Cowboys.
What a nice time. That's the sort of hand you want when you've only got a low stack, isn't it?
How does he play it? Is he going to be
Well, he's
trying
going to be
coy,
delighted
or?
because someone's come in there with the 6,000 and he's going to come in all over the top.
Yes, all in it goes. He does not want to
There
see the
it
ace.
is. And what a lovely situation to be against Ace King. There's only a... Oh, a jack could kill him as well. Oh, no! Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
Absolutely cruel. He had the kings. He re-raised the Ace King, who was in a wonderful situation.
And he goes out seventh with 56.
Came that ace on the river.
$56.
Mind you, a jack would have killed him as well
Jack would
because
have killed
it was a
him.
middle pin straight draw. Very unlucky, Martinique.
So it's a $10 multi-table tournament. He's gone away 56. So he has made some money.
Cruel though when you have a second best hand with Hold'em and it just gets pierced on the river.
River rat. Well, now there are 6. Who's your money on?
Oh, on here. We'll just have a look at this hand here. He's got all in with 6,000, which is quite correct again. He hasn't got time to do anything else. The blinds are 1,000, 2,000, so he'd be committed anyway. I mean, obviously you've got to look at some of the ones with more chips here, I fancy. Be hard for me now to look anywhere else other than the chip leader, I think, Mild Joe, because he's got position here at the moment. He's not going to play this one, but he's past the blinds. Other people are going to be under pressure before him.
But I'll take Lee then.
Okay, we'll have our battle. If Flirty Liz hadn't been tired, what would she have done then?
Oh, James, wouldn't you like to know?
I thought you might give me a lady's insight into this.
I'll draw you a picture.
Go on then. Panago, not what he wanted. He really is under pressure here, of course. Each round's going to cost him 3,000. Oh, and he's done it. Well, I don't mind this, actually. I don't mind this at all. It looks like funny cards to do it with, but it was going to be his big blind next. He's pushed it in. I think it's good. Well done. I like it. Very good. He realised that he had very little play left, and he thought there might be some fold equity here. That's what we've been talking about. That's what I've been trying to stress. A great demonstration there of the advantage of being the better. With a horrible looking hand, he actually got himself some chips.
Well done.
And that 3,000 was very significant to him.
Yep.
Increased his stack by 1/3.
It's a good play.
Yeah.
Like it.
And not many people could have pulled the button with that hand, I can tell you.
Top pair for Marilyn and for Mild Joe.
And a bit of a straight draw for Mild Joe. But Marilyn's got the better kicker with the 8. And has only got 5,500 left. I think it's going to push it in, does so. Has hit...
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They split the pot because it's on the board.
There it is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Amazing.
Just Queen Jack doesn't quite rule in the unraised pot, does it?
No.
It's very close, but it's not
No, it's
quite
not close.
there.
You don't know where you are with Queen Jack.
No, it's quite close in the pack to
Oh,
King
right,
Queen.
but
It's like the next one down.
It's like another land. Then.
That's what I meant.
Panago's better game this time.
But too bad, but then a flush draw.
And there we go. Split pot.
Why is that split pot? I missed that.
Aces and queens with a jack.
Ah.
The jack got counterfeited. Didn't matter they made a pair. It was only 5-card
The ace
poker
was there, I
hand.
missed that.
That was a big escape for Panago there. Ah, Mild Joe has raised. King Queen's called. Can't like it. Mild Joe bet 6,000.
Need to find out if Gullo's on a bigger ace.
6,000 in a pot of 9. It was a nice size bet. I like it. 2/3 of the pot. Mild Joe, ooh, followed up with another hand. James's pick is looking good. Going to raise it up here. Got chips, got to use them. Keep pressurising the opponents here. Starve them of their chips. And picked up some chips from the limper, which was Greg. Panago, what's he going to do? Is he pushing? He didn't this time. Problem is, once they've done it a few times in a row, you feel that people are going to call you. That happened to me last night. I had to push quite a few times with some strange hands, but then eventually it felt like I'd done it too many times in a row.
Okay, so we've got the King Queen again. Will it be raised? See, you don't know if it's going to be an unraised pot, do you? So does that saying only work if you're in late position?
So this is depends very much on your chip situation here. If this was just a regular game here, I'd have been quite happy just to call with Queen King.
Yep.
And then see what happens after me and get away if someone raises. In this situation, if you've got less chips, you need to do something, then perhaps you've got to move away from the guideline. But that is the principle of it.
Okay. Oh, Joe with the queens. And the big blind.
So Marilyn has made a move.
8, 9,
And
10.
lucky to walk into queens.
Needs a 7. Doesn't come. So Marilyn goes out. 6th, 5th, 6th.
6th. How much lolly did Marilyn get?
I've opened the wrong email. I've opened...
You keep on going back to Flirty Lizards.
6th place gets $73.45.
And another pair of queens, this time for Gullo. Well, Panago, big trouble here, only 6,000. Come on, Panago. Be the aggressor. Ooh, doesn't like that. That one's not so bad because he just now, I think he thinks, oh, well, my big blind's likely to be better than that. And he's gone solo now. I don't think he has that much fold equity. That's the problem.
Fold equity. What we were talking about earlier. It's been a bit of a theme since my tournament. Very important part of the game.
And Panago, he is wondering, look at this, I'm this desperate situation. I wonder if there's any way I can win with this. I might as well just pop it in, he says. Yeah. I can see why he's thinking he's unlucky to be against all the jacks are gone. But he could, no, it's very hard. He had to hit 3-3. Or he'd like a split pot. He'd take a split pot. It's not to be.
So Panago goes out 5th with $90.40.
But the queen took it, pair of queens for Lee.
It's down to 4.
Down to 4. How much did Panago get?
He got $90.40.
Ooh, not bad. Mild Joe on the button with Jack Queen. Blinds are 1,000, 2,000, makes it 4,000. 2 with 2. They didn't want to know because Mild Joe's got all the chips. Not all the chips, but he's chip leader.
4s against 5s.
Pair of 4s for Mild Joe. He's raised it up. It's not easy for the pair of 5s. No, he passed it. Not easy.
Well done.
Just,
Oof!
Wowee, and that's an amazing play from Jack Queen.
And he gets a call.
Goodness me. That was an amazing call by pair of fours. How on earth could he... I didn't like the call by the pair of fours at all. Because...
Did he think maybe Greg was having a go
Well,
at it?
Greg could easily have had an overpair, in which case a pair of fours is in terrible shape. Or you could have had two big cards where it's a very close contest. I thought it was a very difficult call by the fours. I thought it was an imaginative play by Greg, who needed to do something, and he thought that a re-raise was even more powerful than raising, which it is generally. Well, he's rewarded by now being chip leader. And I didn't like my guy's call there, Mile Joe, at all. Didn't like that at all. Now I'm very worried about my situation.
Got King, Queen for Lee.
Queen, King, but this is four-handed now. It's a lot different. He's raised it. Takes it down.
Ten Jack. Suited, Ace Queen suited. And put down for Gullo. I didn't quite feel it was time with the 10 Jack.
No. But he's obviously the one under pressure. Not many rounds of play left when it's 1,500, 3,000 for Gullo. And I wouldn't blame him if he pushed here. And he's done it.
And
I think it's the correct play. Well. I think it's the correct play. Is he going to get called?
No?
I don't think he is. How can you call with King 10? It's very difficult.
Yeah, I thought it might put him on a bit of a
It's difficult.
play.
Yeah, he could do. In fact, he should be thinking that he might be making a play, because he should recognise
that he's desperate.
Yes. What shape is Gullo in? And because of that, the hands you call with don't have to be such a high level as normal. Because normally you need a higher quality of hand for calling than for betting. Because when you call, there's no fold equity, and you have to win the hand. That's why the level of hand has to be higher for calling. But in this case, when you realise that your opponent is under pressure, in the land of having to do something, you can sometimes call with less. But even so, I thought it was different from the call.
And Gullo now doing very well. Second, well, third. But in much better shape as Greg storms into the lead.
Well, it's a good contest.
Now he gets the Ace King, sorry.
And Gullo's going to be attacking again. There we go. No mucking around. He'll take this down too. And Greg's pushed here. Difficult for Mile Joe. I think he's got to pass.
Ace-8 suited.
Yeah, Mile Joe like that. And I think we'll see an attack from him. There it is. Well, playing pretty well here, these guys. These guys and gals. Oh, King Queen against King Queen. And the one who struck first won. Ooh!
Bullets for Mile
Bullets
Joe,
for my man.
He's limping.
Ooh, good. He's trying to win a big pot with it.
Now, just do the others have to think now? Hang on a minute. He's been raising a lot. Now he's limping. Do I have to be worried here that he's playing tricky, or does he have a weak hand?
I think they do worry. They didn't do anything to it. They didn't try and raise him or whatever, so they've just come in there. He's even come in with 9-10.
And he's playing it coy. He's just having a little
Because he's got the spade as well, because he can hit the flush. Because you've got the ace of spades. He's not worried about that. He bets.
Maybe he's trying to make it look a bit of a
Gullo doesn't think
bluff.
he's got a queen. Gullo might. I don't know. It's difficult for him. He just doesn't believe he's got a queen. But, well, somehow he remembers he did limp. He could have the overpair. And he just didn't like it. He thought it was a bit smelly and he passed. So, however hard he tried there, Mile Joe couldn't get them to pay him. Cowboys, King Kong for Michelle's man, Lee.
Miss. Oh, and he got a call with a 10 jack. And Gallo goes out fourth with $107.
And Michelle's pick has gone into the lead.
Yes, look at me go. Okay, some high cards here. The rag doesn't want to know.
Well, Greg might push, he does. Oh, and Majo's called. Oh no! Oh no! Yep.
Off you pop, James. Your man's gone third with
Yes.
$141. Come on, Lemus, you can do it.
Oh well, I didn't like that
Have we got a
call.
wager on this? Did we say tenner? Was it a tenner?
Luckily we didn't.
Worth a try. So a heads up, in a multi-table tournament, we've come from 130 players down to 2. They've been playing all night. The winner will get $339 and second place will get $226.
Not too shabby at all.
They must have done something right to get this far. You would think.
Oh yes, well we've seen some good plays by them. All this has come for Greg from that imaginative play he did with the Queen Jack when he did the re-raise with the Queen Jack.
Yeah.
He's attacked again. Lee with Jack Queen. He's gone and attack himself. Queen 10. Oh, re-raise. He does like the re-raise, but no.
It's the jack.
You hit the jack and he's got the flush draw covered as well. Oopsie daisy.
Look at me go into the lead. Well, not me, but...
Your pick.
Okay, well. Heads up, here we go. Both got rags.
Ooh, but they've both got aces. Could cause a problem. Greg's capable of... Oh no, he hasn't this time. I said he's capable of coming back over the top, isn't he?
Pair of nines takes it down, nice and easy. I mean, pairs here, it's middle to high pairs here are gold, aren't they, heads up?
Well, yeah, and big cards. Big cards are good, of course. Oops. Right, up to Lee.
Eight, nine. What do you do with these connectors? Is it worth making a move? Because, like you say, it's high cards heads up pre-flop. So when you get things like connectors,
Well, he didn't have to. He had to wait for Greg to act, and luckily Greg just passed, so he didn't have to decide that time. Here, the buttons they play it the other way around here, unfortunately. So the small blind is off the button, where it should be the small blind on the button, as it happens. In regular play, but all you have to do in this case, the button's he's got the big blind and got the advantage of position, but. It does actually, we do see the person on the small blind trying to attack a few times. He's going back and forward here. Ace Queen, he's definitely going to attack with that, that's for sure. I don't think the 6-4 is going to play. No, 6-4 will pass to that.
Jack Queen, that'll push.
KG.
It's when you see two big hands, you see it all go in, don't you?
Yeah. Made it 15, no, he doesn't want to know.
mind they still have play.
Well, they have got play. They've still got plenty of play.
They're still pushing, aren't they?
Well, no, they're not doing a massive raise now, are they? They made it 15. They've changed their bets slightly. They've left the door open to get away from a hand. But this time he's pushing all in quite a bit.
He's crept up a bit.
Often on the lesser hands. Right, Ace Jack, what's he going to do? 12,000.
Quick decisions. Do you see it go all back and forth, don't you, until you see two big hands? Or even a couple of mediocre hands.
Well, that's a dodgy one. Oh, he's made that 10-5. Oh, he might call this. Yes, he does. I thought he might for 7.5, but now Greg's... Oh, he's checked. What to go? He's checked again. I mean, the door's open for Lee. No, he doesn't try. And it's...
split with the jacks.
Jack 10 it was split with, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because they both had the jack, didn't they?
And the 10 on the board to help.
And 10 on the board. King to a queen.
Okay, I think he's going to be... Oh! He passed that one. Wow. Horrible looking hand there. He doesn't want to play that. And it hasn't moved much. It's kept this sort of...
Oh, now we're going to see, I think.
Yes, this could be a battle, couldn't it?
He's
made it 14. Is he going all in? Yes, he does. Lee calls. 7, 10, 8. The queen's out in front. Ooh, queens and 10.
Now the tables have turned.
The lead has changed.
Lee can quite easily turn it around again, though, can't he?
Yeah, it's still quite possible. I mean, the ratio now is 120 to 44. So it's approximately a 3-to-1 ratio.
He's got his 10, and that's it.
Oh, Greg wins.
Lee takes $226, and Greg takes first, $339.
And even though Michelle's pick came second, it doesn't count because he didn't win.
I beat you though, didn't I, Brownie?
Doesn't count. No, you have to win.
Oh, it doesn't count. You have to win. You still owe me a tenner. Not forgetting. So what did you think?
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Overall?
Again, quite a lot of play in that heads up in the final of that MTT. I like to see it. Cagey back and forward. We saw quite a few plays. We saw some re-raises from Greg. If anything, I thought that Greg was marginally the more imaginative player. But altogether, I thought they both played pretty well.
Oh, well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed our multi-table tournament. Well, what do you fancy now? We've got about 20 minutes left.
Ladies' choice.
Should we do a cash? Because we've had a couple of tournaments, haven't we? So let's head over to a cash. Which one will it be? 25, 50 cent.
I'm scanning the table, but...
Where's Flirty Liz gone? She's gone to bed to dream of you, James.
Do you think?
Yeah. Well, look, we have Nialo. SG1's there. Good on ya. Chili P. Johan Harren. Blessed. Tragic's there. Shaky Shark. And Gefarmus as well.
Ace 9 6. So
call him Geffer.
Blessed has got the top pair, and SG's got the flush draw and a straight draw. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2 spades out there. So he's got a flush draw and a straight draw, up and down a straight draw. He's hit the 8, but that's no good because Blessed's got a straight. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Nice.
Nice one.
Got Ace King, Shaky Shark with the Ace 6 suited. I'm feeling a raise. Yep, $2. Shaky Shark puts it down, so does Geffer. Can't see how either of these can call. The 6, 7 suited. I can see that he's got outs. He's now got the flush draw. Will Tragic give him odds to call? He shouldn't, should he?
Well, there's 475 in the middle. He's bet 3,
3.
so he's not giving him odds there.
But Johan Heron's called
Now
anyway.
there's 1075 in the middle. If he bets 1075, he's giving him 2 to 1, and of course to hit a flush, he's more than 4 to 1. And there he
does
is.
exactly
he's
that.
done that. He's done a bad call, hasn't he?
Johan Heron's called again, yeah.
He must have thought he was going to get paid if he hit the flush. Otherwise, that was a poor call.
Mm-hmm.
A bit sloppy for Johan.
Wasn't getting odds twice. He's got 9-10 suited now on the big blind. And yellow. Hurry up and put your 4-10 down. Maybe he's off playing another game. S2-1. He limps in here with the rag ace. What do you think of that?
I don't love it. It's okay if he thinks he can outplay his opponents on the flop. But now he's raised, you can't call it. He's just left 50 cents behind. Oh, definitely left it behind. Now there's a re-raise from Johan there, 9-10.
Oh, he's playing, isn't he? Chili P, what do you do with your Queen 10?
You're
Fold.
going to pass it, he can't call it. Aggressive play by Johan. Imaginative play.
Oh, as Geffer gets the kings.
King Kong.
Do you like the Cowboys?
Geffer. Chili pepper. Well, it's only 50 cents. I think he's got him. He has 6-8 Jack. He's also got the King of Hearts. $2.25 in the middle. He bets $1. Not even $1, says Blessed. Forget it.
Okay, King Queen, late position on the button.
Let's see what happens.
But we've got the Ace 10 and the Ace King.
So if there's a raise, I wouldn't be calling with the Queen King.
Yep.
Definitely raising a call, I'd be saying goodbye. He calls it.
Backdoor, straight draw. Which really isn't.
Backdoor flush draw as well he's got.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Well, the Ace King's represented that he's got something.
So yeah, the Ace King here, he's got 2 overcards. It was checked to him by Niallo.
He just
So he saw weakness.
being an
it.
opportunist. He thought, well, the initial raise is checked. I don't believe he's connected with his flop. He then thinks he's probably got 2 big cards, but they're not going to be as big as mine. So I'll bet myself.
Yeah.
And then hope that Johan doesn't have that much, because we know that Johan's capable of raising. We've seen the pot before. He didn't raise, so he doesn't probably think he had that much either.
So again, it's like you say, it's all them thinking process. He's thinking, right, he raised before the flop, so he's got big cards or a big pair,
Yeah.
probably. The flop's come low.
Yeah.
So either he's got the overpair, in which case he's going to bet.
Yeah.
He hasn't, so he's probably got the 2 big cards he's missed. Mine
Yeah.
are bigger, I'm going to bet. So it's
Yeah.
all that thought process
Yes.
we were talking about earlier.
Yep. And then going to Johan as well, he said, I know Johan then just called pre-flop the raise.
Mm-hmm.
We know he's an aggressive player at times. He didn't try and re-raise, so he didn't have that much. He was on a sort of a type of a connected type hand, probably.
Uh-huh.
I'll get rid of him as well. Tragic Trev in position with a good hand, with big slick. Bets 2, takes down the money. $1.75 profit.
Got another Ace King.
For Chili Pepper. Just made it $1.
There's not much else going on there, is there?
So it's 50 cents to call for the big blind. 75 for the small blind. I think the big blind might call this. He does.
It's a 7 as well.
And it's hit the front. Well, why not pop out of bed? Because you don't know what your opponent's going to do. Now, I think it's a missed opportunity there, because Nialo, by checking, oh no, he believes even more that he's winning. Okay, fair enough. Hats off to you if you're capable of raising.
Oh,
no
Chilipi's
problem.
come back again.
Wow.
Very aggressive.
We're seeing some good poker here.
Wow, and he gets him to put it down.
What very good poker that was.
Yeah, that was good.
Hmm.
The re-raise. Very powerful. And it must have been, it's ballsy because Nialo had already re-raised.
It was. The only thing was, I think he thought that Nialo might have just been making a move because Nialo had checked, Chile bet, then Nialo came over the top. So he doesn't even, I think he didn't believe Nialo had hit the flop himself.
No.
So basically, if we go back to the beginning, because Nialo called the raise pre-flop, and he connected with the flop, I think he probably should have just bet straight away.
Yeah.
And then just said, look, I've hit part of this.
What have you got?
I think you've got 2 big cards, what are you going to do? And I think maybe that the ace-king would then said, oh, I'm not going to bother anymore, bye-bye.
Well, Get Famous has got the biggest hand pre-flop, but can't see.
Oh, just called.
He's just called it. So
he wants to play it. I don't mind this in a money
in.
game. He's against 2 people, that's fine. That's fine.
10 Jack Queen.
Yeah, up and down straight there for Chili
9-10
Pepper.
Jack Queen.
9-10 Jack Queen. And a backdoor flush. And he's bet out. Well, that's not going to frighten off Farmers.
Get Famous, maybe.
Or Get Famous.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah, Get Farmers, mate. I want to get Farmers. And look at this. What's he hit? He's hit it straight.
8, 9, 10 Jack Queen. Slow playing the aces has not worked for him. This is the problem with aces, but you can play it both ways, can't you? It's a difficult straight to see as well if you're just glancing at that board.
Yeah.
It's difficult to put him on that straight.
It is. But
now, these rag aces which are suited, do you take that into account? Because there's always that possibility of a nuts flush somewhere
yeah,
along the line.
that's one of the best part of it, basically, because you could well be hitting a nut flush. So any part of a hand which actually gives you a nut part hand to be drawing at least means if you hit it, you know where you are. So that's a good point about it. But overall, it's a hand which causes you a lot of problems when
you don't.
You hit the ace and you're up against bigger kickers, and you tend to lose too much money on those situations. In late position, I might well raise with ace small suited. Early position, I might limp with it or not play with it at all. But basically, again, you want company. You want more people in the pot with you. So if you do connect...
Chili making a move again.
I know. Definitely Chili Peppers. He's had them. He's hotted him up.
See what you did there, James. It's clever. King Queen again, they're out. Just for James. Oh, he's raised.
Small raise. By Shaky Shark.
Well, I think the ace will pay, won't it? 50, maybe.
Yeah, I would imagine he will. Well, no, he doesn't.
Doesn't want
Doesn't want to know. He just worries. I think it's because he did it under the gun. He thought, oh, I don't know, you might have a big hand there. And he was worried.
Nialo with the ace jack.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Put a raise. Made a raise of 2. Got called by Johan.
Do you say there raise of $2 or raise of $1.50?
Well, he's actually raised $1.50, hasn't he? He's called 50 cents and raised $1.50, but just say he's made it 2, technically.
7-8 suited.
He's made it 4 big blinds.
Well, Johan's hit an 8 and he's ahead at the moment.
Now let's see how this betting goes. And Johan's putting the raise again. Nialo's bet 450 and he's called. Right, but now
he's a 5. We'll give Johan a straight.
Johan's going to bet. Yeah, there you go.
Big bet as well. He's aggressive, isn't he?
Yeah. He doesn't believe Niello's got anything. He read it well. He read it well. Niello made the continuation bet. Johan called and raised. Niello now called with nothing, basically. Listen, you've made your continuation bet. Someone smelt it. They've raised you. Even if they haven't got it, don't be frightened to put it down because you don't know where you are with your hand. You haven't actually connected.
Yeah.
Surrender. Don't make it worse.
Very difficult for some people to put it down, isn't it, after they've made that extra bet?
Pair of fives. Wow.
Got him to put it down?
Gets rid of the king-queen.
Not much going on here. Pulled it around. Okay, 10 jack, ace 5 suited, jack queen suited.
Can you see any action coming?
Oh, I see limps really, to be
Yeah,
honest.
shaky shark can limp in. Or might even do a little raise if no one else comes in.
Oh, the
Oh,
blessed
no.
has.
We've had Blessed and a raise. Yeah, he's called it. I thought he might. He's got position now that he could call as well. Because there's company there. He could have called there. I wouldn't have minded 6-7 calling on the button because there was a few people in there.
Yeah.
It's the sort of hand which then you're getting value if you hit. So it's that those extra players would be what would be the thing which would be encouraging me.
Mm-hmm. Well, the ace hits, but Shaky has his flush draw. So again, let's see if he gets odds. And straight draw. That shot.
He's got
10.
Yeah, so he's got 12 outs. He's got three tens and 9 clubs. And he's raised Blessed, but a small raise. I think he could have put a bigger one in. Blessed's got a dodgy kicker, and he passes. Okay, it worked anyway. Well, impressive.
There's some action there, wasn't there?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I have an email here from Greg. He says, "Hi Michelle and James, just wanted to say for my first televised multi-table tournament, I enjoyed the comments that were made. I was Greg K2 and ended up winning.
I know.
Although you both backed the other players. Oh, we did, didn't we? Sorry Greg, well you proved us wrong. Hopefully one of you will back me to win next time, especially you Michelle. Greg,
Ooh.
don't you worry, my money is most definitely on you next time you play. And I'll make a note, Greg, to win. Okay, on reflection of my play, I think I was a little too risky with all in bets pre-flop and escaped a couple of situations that would have landed me in trouble. What is the best way to handle a big, medium-sized stack on the final table with the blinds being so big?
Yes, I think the one comment there is, I thought in that heads-up situation there, you did click the all-in button a few times when you didn't need to. That was the one thing. I thought before that, I liked some of your plays. I thought you did some imaginative plays. I thought I did like that re-raise when you were in trouble. You looked for a situation to re-raise to try and get some chips. In the end, you called with a pair of fours, which was amazing. You were a small underdog, but you won it. I like those sort of plays. But in the heads up, there's a few times there where you just pressed the all-in button, where in fact, even when you had quite a few chips, you didn't need to, whereas your opponent sometimes got the same result by just putting in 15,000. So I think you can vary your bet there, and I think you did risk some chips when you didn't need to, when you did it with a substandard hand. Because you could have still had enough chips to get away from it, possibly. That would be a comment on that. Basically, it's all to do with checking how many chips you've got, how much play you've got. If you've got more play and you've got quite a lot of chips, you don't always have to be risking all your chips because you can be asking a question for a lot smaller bet because you've got the implied strength of that nice big stack of chips behind you. So you can often frighten people away from pots, which is what you want to do, but still have an escape route if all of a sudden you feel that you've walked into a monster.
Right, well done, Greg.
Yeah, but very well
very
done.
well. James, it's been a pleasure tonight.
Michelle, I've enjoyed it with you.
Again, as always, thank you for your comments and your help with
Thank
poker
you, darling.
tonight. And that is all for today, but do join us tomorrow night at 10 p.m. for some more poker analysis and learn with us. But for now, from James and I, it's good night.